And we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
This is also new. It's not new. I realize that nothing we've been doing is new. We haven't been tapping into new areas of the brain. We've just been awakening the most ancient. This technology is simply a route to powers that conjurers and alchemists used centuries ago.
We're seeing an exponential growth in our machines and innovations as technology surpasses and exceeds our limitations. Implications could be serious. In many past and present futures have been warning us for years about the consequences. Massive repercussions. We see the evidence, dependence on our internet.
Hey, good morning, Marika. Welcome.
As we immerse ourselves in working all our fingers to the bones for corporations.
I got the new one from ODD TV coming up next.
And the greatest plastic upgrades in their products and replacements and build their databases. Investing hours of our own free time uploading information used against us to target us with market advertising toward our interests. Collecting information used to monitor our senses. Correcting anyone who won't comply or be connected. How long before a mandatory microchips injected? It's the age-old lie, the promise of utopia, the carrot on the stick, the empty cornucopia. Technological hive mind dystopia. Or will it rise is a time of robophobia? It's the age-old lie, the promise of utopia, the carrot on the stick, the empty cornucopia. Technological hive mind dystopia. Or will it rise is a time of robophobia? It's an emerging type insurgents converging and emerging in a journey slowly bursting to the surface. It's concerning every person and confirming every warning. The disturbing thought we're working toward a single mind that's merging and converting us to downloadable versions of ourselves inside a full immersion, universal simulated virtual reality where every living earthling's neural pathways are inspected mandatorily and connected using voice to skull telepathy, absorbing data fingerprints to play us back like instruments, manipulating us just like we're puppets of ventriloquists, remote controlling human beings like Ouija boards, coursing through the veins of circuit boards, record the sound of every vocal cord, moving exponentially towards a singularity. Eventually we won't distinguish magic from technology, and robots will unplug from electricity.
Hey, Cappy. Hey, Rick Swain.
Powered like a golem using alchemy. The promise of utopia, the carrot on the stick, the empty cornucopia. Technological hive mind dystopia. Or will it rise is a time of robophobia?
8 minutes to 4:20 somewhere.
The promise of utopia, the carrot on the stick, the empty cornucopia. Technological hive mind dystopia. Or will it rise is a time of robophobia? So they manipulate genetically our DNA collectively, infecting every living organism and directing every intersecting thought and every memory and vision, inspecting our opinions and collecting our decisions. A digital technocracy emerging as philosophy, inserting thought police patrols and mind control technology, removing private property, enforcing thought bureaucracy, reducing every freedom and pursuit of life and liberty, consistently expanding all their terms and their conditions with minimum requirements and maximum restrictions, creating unknown problems to offer fake solutions to complicate the system till there's nothing but confusion, depicting anyone who won't conform as unacceptable, demanding everyone to all agree and not be skeptical, eventually connecting every mind from every nation, fulfilling prophecies from Genesis to Revelation. It's the age-old lie, the promise of utopia, the carrot on the stick, the empty cornucopia. Technological hive mind dystopia. Or will it rise is a time of robophobia?
All right. I tell you what, I don't know of two better artists that put more truth out there in their music than Destiny Lab and ODD TV. It's just a blessing to have them. And here is the newest, I believe the newest song, Twilight Zone, by ODD TV. I haven't even heard the whole thing yet. Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone. Boy, I've been saying that for about 7-8 years now, for sure.
These crazy days that we live in just cause me aches and pains. Lately, my life is like a season of Stranger Things. This place is flooded with demons and they invade your brains. This is an artificial hell and they create the flames. Day to day, I just try to stay strong and make it through. Wake people up from their slumber, that's what I came to do. Please don't believe what you see on TV and think it's true. It's all just targeted programming and it's aimed at you. It's everywhere. You're getting lied to and yet you barely care. People with common sense are now very rare. But the way that they brainwash you isn't very fair. They can shove that mind control programming up their derriere. I do not consent to the way they tailor society. Ain't no variety. Plus, I really hate when they lie to me. I use music as a tool to release the anger inside of me. You don't know how fucking crazy it's driving me. That we're living in the they claim you have freedom, but they don't honor it. The world is a prison and you're the occupant. We're living in the government's useless and they're incompetent. And satanic pedophiles are prominent. We're living in the things that you believe are the total opposite. And being called crazy is just a compliment. We're living in the it's ran by the New World Order conglomerate. But there's a storm coming and there's no stopping it. We're living in the
it's where we live and control you through fear and terrorism. They want to keep you in a mental prison where they tell you vision through the television. Where the ignorance is bliss and they just keep you living in it. You're a business, getting us citizenship. What did you really think that your birth certificate is? Get the straw man on. Money isn't paid, it's all in the bank note. It's only a bill exchange when you pay that loan. Like a monopoly game, but you can't pass go. When you turn on the TV, y'all did. You get politically entertainment. The news that you see is all suggestive. Lower brain frequencies contribute to our stress. And you're responding, telling me that we're free living in this country. Military overseas and it's up for our peace. Just a record on repeat from the programming. I probably want a cracker. Put you through education for domestication, control of my pastor. Giving you medication to poison our masses. If you ever question what's coming from our masters. And you're rocking the boat, or you're ever having any thoughts of your own. You better hope you never caught rocking alone. To be locked up a road off by the vehicle. Got your life looking like a sci-fi show.
Right.
You're scribbling when the Wi-Fi's on. Airplane mode when I find my phone. If your eyes wide closed.
We're living in the they claim you have freedom,
where nobody's
but they don't
alone.
honor it. The world is a prison and you're the occupant. We're living in the government's useless and they're incompetent. And satanic pedophiles are prominent. We're living in the things that you believe are the total opposite. And being called crazy is just a compliment. We're living in the it's ran by the New World Order conglomerate. But there's a storm coming and there's no stopping it. We're living in the I ask myself, why do I even bother? Cause people are just like sheep that are lining up for the slaughter. If they're killing rats with fluoride, then why is it in the water? They're using the news to fool us, divide us so they can conquer. The longer you stay asleep, then the longer I'm gonna scream at you. I can't believe you let them deceive you, it's inconceivable. I won't stop until you wake up and do what you need to do. This world is overran with an evil that is unspeakable. Most people don't know, so they just vote and pay taxes. The devil's hiding in the shadows and controlling their actions. And they think that the earth is a spinning globe on its axis. But I don't have any time to devote to this madness. I have nobody to relate to, so I ride alone. Just me and all these wild thoughts that are inside my dome. I feel like I don't belong here and I can't find my home. I'm tripping and I'm wishing it was different, but we're living in the they claim you have freedom, but they don't honor it. The world is a prison and you're the occupant. We're living in the government's useless and they're incompetent. And satanic pedophiles are prominent. We're living in the
Oh, I hate to hear that, Friendello. Glad you're here, though. Hey, Craig.
We're living in it's ran by the New World Order conglomerate. But there's a storm coming and there's no stopping it. We're living in the Twilight Zone.
And there's nowhere that
Twilight
we can
Zone.
go. Awake and now I'm feeling all alone.
We're living in the Twilight Zone.
And the rest that remain asleep, sedated and still thinking that we're free.
We're living in the Twilight Zone.
And there's nowhere that we can go. Awake and now I'm feeling all alone.
We're living in the Twilight Zone.
And the rest that remain asleep, sedated and still thinking that we're free.
We're living in the Twilight Zone.
We're living in the Terror Dome, where E.T. can never phone home. I'm digging that new song. Woo. Woo. Well, I might have to play that again later. All right. What's up, good people? So good to see you all. Stop screen share for a minute and say, hey, hey, because it is 420 somewhere too, by the way. All right. Anyway, I've got a few things to share with you, and then we'll go from there. See how the day progresses the morning. All right. I'm gonna go back to screen share and get started. It is great to see you all. God bless you all. Do-do-do-do. Check out COVID health passports are coming. Dun, 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 dun.
Health Passport Ireland is created to protect our society and our economy. Built in Ireland by the Rock U Group, the system uses the very best COVID-19 testing, combined with the latest mobile technologies. Health Passport Ireland is powered by proven and validated systems, allowing us all to take safer steps in our return to our normal way of life. Here's how it works. With Health Passport
thanks.
Ireland, everyone can now be tested for COVID-19 at any time, which helps to protect you, your family,
Test
our jobs,
these.
and our economy. Your COVID-19 test will be performed with highly accurate serological or swab tests. Your test is performed by a medical professional. After your COVID-19 test, an authorised healthcare administrator
joke.
creates your Health Passport Ireland account. Your login details will be emailed to you immediately with a link to download your
Good
Health
morning,
Passport
David.
mobile app.
Good day.
The authorised healthcare administrator securely updates your COVID-19 test results in your Health Passport. Once activated, you can easily display your COVID-19 status on your mobile. Your Health
How
Passport can be scanned if
special.
you wish, which helps
Would you like to
protect
be a
those around us.
COVIDiot?
Your COVID-19 status will efficiently
thank you.
display as green, amber, or red, dependent on your test results. This allows us to go about our daily activities in a safer way. We can all use Health Passport Ireland in many ways, such as travel, hospitality, education, healthcare, construction, offices, entertainment, visits, and much, much more. Naturally, the validity of your COVID-19 test will expire over time, so an automatic reminder will be sent when it's time to
Yeah.
be tested again. Your status will move to amber when your test period has expired.
Who's gonna sign
Health
up?
Passport Ireland does not use Bluetooth or
Not
track your
me.
location. This preserves your privacy. The systems can work in harmony with existing government contact tracing apps. When a vaccine becomes available, your official vaccination status can also
So
be displayed within
trendy.
your Health Passport.
Ooh.
You can even keep a diary of your international travel and events you have attended. Health Passport Ireland can be linked to existing secure
Trendies.
medical systems if required. For example, at your GP or hospital. You can visit www.healthpassportireland.ie for more information. Health Passport
No
Ireland,
thanks.
working together to protect our society and economy.
Crap. Hey, Wes. Man, that was a load of crap. Propaganda. No, thank you. But it's sticking with that. Let's check this one out here. I don't know how far we're going to go with this because this is, I'm not even subscribed to them, but this is Press Reset Earth that I found this morning, talking about digital health passport and COVID camps.
So you might remember about 6 months ago when we were talking about the COVID, the Certificate of Vaccination Identification. Well, yeah, you were called crazy. I was called crazy. People that I knew called me crazy when I said they're going to roll this out. This is all part of the agenda. Now it's absolutely 100% certified and being rolled out. You have pilot programs now launched by Common Pass, which is backed by the World Economic Forum, the same people that put out their Great Reset initiative just a couple years before the COVID struck. Go figure, and a lot of their initiatives
Good to see you, Zilren.
lining up with Agenda 2030 and many of these UN quote-unquote sustainable goals just so happen to coincide with what people are bringing about, what leaders and countries
sustainable
and
goals.
governments are bringing about now in the name of as a pretext for the COVID and to prevent the spread. It was supposed to be just to flatten the curve, but so much for that crap, right?
Try to flatten these.
Yeah, so this health passport is digital. It's going to be used to keep track of you, to contact trace you, to make sure you're not sick with the cocoa, and also to make sure you've been vaccinated in the future when they roll out the vaccines. Again, all put
Are
out by
you
the
cuckoo
same
for
people that
cocoa?
put out the Great Reset and the Sustainable
COVID.
Development Goals Agenda 2030 initiatives, the globalist New World Order. That being said, this is also being announced in Australia. You can see here Alan Tudge, MP, announcing
Pray for
this very
Australia.
same initiative. He actually calls it a certificate of vaccination identification and a digital health passport. And I want everybody to remember certificate of vaccination, COV, identification, ID, COVID. What's that spell? Well, G.
Is to
Imagine
digitise
that.
the incoming passenger card. So at the moment, everybody who arrives into Australia, be you a foreigner or an Aussie, you would complete this card and it has your contact information, your details, as well as some of the biosecurity information. That obviously is sometimes difficult to read. It takes time to manually process this. And in the future, when we need to be able to contact trace people, we of course would like that information to be able to get
Trace
health
these.
authorities immediately, rather than having to go through the process of entering the data and across to them. So from this time next year, our expectation is that we'll no longer need this incoming passenger card, because we'll have a fully digital incoming passenger card. And what's more, by having a digital product in the future,
digitize these
globally available vaccine.
Sorry, guys.
To attach
just
a
so sick of this
vaccination certificate
garbage
to the incoming passenger card, so that
Evil.
we will know if a person has indeed had that vaccination or not, and therefore they will be able to enter into Australia potentially without quarantining. Furthermore, by digitising this, we have much.
And I'm sorry for any background noise. That's my
the
daughter's
integrity
TV in the room back there.
with who the individual is, because
Good
typically
morning,
you do this on
good
your phone,
day,
and taken off your
Voynich.
face, which would match up to your passport to ensure there is integrity in relation to the identity of the individual. And of course, from a contact tracing perspective.
Hey guys, one more thing. You know, I was supposed to get my channel back in 4 days on November 8th, and I'm not now. But just kind of put out good vibes, and if you will, pray for that they don't hit my channel with a third strike in between now and when I get my channel back, or whatever, or at least when, you know, the 4 days to the first one expires. But I have another active strike, of course, that, you know, is keeping me from going live till January 19th to 2021 now. So we'll see what happens. But I've had that channel for 11 years. I'd rather not lose it and be able to go back to it. I didn't want to make this channel in the first place. You know, I've never had another channel on YouTube. So anyway, just trying to hopefully make it 4 more days to only have one strike at that point, and try to make it till January 19th to get it back. But the one thing too is I'm sharing the same kind of stuff. I'm having the same shows that I had over there right here, and I could be positive and say it's great, they're not messing with me, but it's just strange that they're not messing with me over here at all, and it's the same kind of content. So I got on their list with my other channel, and once you're on their list, whatever way you make it on that list, their hit list, they're gonna try to take you out if possible. So anyway, hang in there, and maybe we'll be back to Tommy Tell the Truth next year.
It means that we'll be able to immediately have the information connected into contact tracing capability in each of the state and territories jurisdictions, should they need it. So this is a significant development. As Minister Roberts said, we'll be putting this tender out next week, and our ambition is to have this available for us next year. And this is just another further step in our efforts
New World Order
to slowly reopen and safely reopen the Australian borders, so that we can allow more people to leave the country and more people to come in.
Yeah, because they do want to
said
leave
with
your
such
country.
Conviction, so exciting. Alan Tudge, thank you so much for that. Meanwhile, the WHO has urged world leaders to stop using lockdowns as primary virus
The WHO, who the hell do they think they are, chumps?
control method. And notice with Alan Tudge's words and many of these leaders' words when they speak, when they're rolling this stuff out, it's all about ending the lockdowns. That's their excuse now. It's like, hey, we got to make sure everybody has their health passport, make sure everybody
Get the
consents
vaccine.
to contact tracing on a unanimous scale in our respective countries. We have to make sure you get your mandatory vaccination rollout and certificate to go along with it, the COVID. And
Simon says,
if we
believe in COVID, Simon says, put on a mask and stand 6 feet apart. Simon says, stand in line and wait for a vaccine. Simon says, so on and so on and so on until you're doing everything the B system wants you to do. And we're smarter than that. Thank you, God.
If we do that, we can end these lockdowns, because the lockdowns were never meant to be a
Hey, Zal.
permanent
Good to see you.
mechanism. They're more or less meant to be a trauma tactic to get people to submit. That way we can slow the spread and we can take the masks off. That's sort of what they're saying now.
What I want to say after I just read Zal's comment is, anything's possible. And certainly we're seeing supernatural things happen. Everything is fake that, is going on in the world, like politically and the virus crap. I mean, the flu is, real. And I've had the flu twice this year, and that's all that, COVID-19 is a hyped up seasonal flu that they're manipulating and exploiting and using it with their deception to try and enslave everyone, with the beast system, with the mark of the beast, and prepare everybody to fall in love with the Antichrist. And now we know who the false prophet is of the end times. Pope Francis, even his own people have called him out as such. And God has put it on my heart for at least a couple years. I've known longer than that, but at least a couple years to tell people confidently that Pope Francis is the false prophet of the end times. And I've gotten enough confirmation that to boldly say that, and to warn people, Catholics and everyone, to not fall for his lies and deception, his false teaching, and for he's working with the elites to bring about the New World Order, One World Order agenda, which turns into the beast system. So I do not think that I am very far off, if any, on my 2021 to 2028, being the tribulation period. I'm not setting any specific dates. I don't try to figure out the day and the hour that Jesus has come back or anything like that. I only share what I feel like God has put on my heart to share with you guys, and I only share because I truly care. And all right, so let's just go listen a little bit more of this, and I've got some other things I want to share with you, and then I might bring some people on if they would like.
Now, but as they roll this out, it will become more sophisticated and more nuance to roll out the high-tech control grid that they plan on forcing everybody into.
Yep.
You also have camps being built for people who disagree with
Here
this
we go.
stuff.
Camps
I think
being
it's
built.
my opinion.
Yep.
Of course, they're telling you on the surface that it's for incoming and
FEMA
outgoing
camps.
travelers at the moment. But as you can see here, this Canadian Parliament member exposes the fact that it's for more than just that.
The member for Lanark, Frontenac, Kingston.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Premier. In my supplemental question yesterday, I asked this government if the people of Ontario should prepare for internment camps.
Internment camps.
In September, the federal government posted a call for expressions of interest for contractors to supply, provide, and manage quarantine isolation camps throughout every province and every territory in Canada. These quarantine isolation camps, however, are not limited to people with COVID, but provide a wide latitude for many people to be detained.
Listen
Surely
to
this government is aware of the intentions to build these isolation camps from coast to coast.
Keep in mind when we watch and hear things like this in other countries, keep in mind who is behind all these plans. It's the New World Order, evil elites that are worldwide implementing the One World Order agenda. So they're going to get away with whatever they can get away with in each country. So it's slower to be implemented in in the U.S. and other places or whatever, faster in some others. Look at China. China's the perfect model for the beast system, just about perfect, and it's just progressing more and more into a one world order. That's what they want, guys. So this is important to hear what laws are being put on the books, and what's being done, and they're talking about building camps all over.
And my question to the Premier is, how many of these camps
With no
will be
fear,
built?
I'm just
And
telling you
how
what
many
they're
people
doing.
does
We
this
don't have any
government
fear.
expect to detain?
Question.
Here's a simple
Of course it
passive
is.
income business
It's
that allows
it's
you to be free. You probably don't
of
know
the
about
devil,
it,
so
but
it's
let me
it's
tell you what
BS.
you do know about.
Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is very true that when people leave the country and when they come back in, that the province is suggesting, and the federal government, in cooperation with the federal government, we are suggesting that people isolate themselves. That has been a practice that has been very successful, not only here in the province of Ontario, but across Canada. And we will, of course, be redoubling our efforts to make sure that the people of the province of Ontario remain safe, Mr. Speaker. So if the member is referring to the fact that that one of the public health policies is that when you return from a jurisdiction outside of the province of Ontario or from another country, that you isolate yourself for 2 weeks, I would suggest that has been a good policy that's been working. In fact, this House has been doing the same thing since we came back. We are working in cohorts to make sure that the Legislative Assembly can continue to operate. That's why we have two separate
They
cohorts.
want to lock
Mr.
us up
Speaker,
because
with the cooperation of the
our
official
voices
opposition. That is
are
why all members of the
loud
independents are
and
excluded from that cohort, because we want
have
them
too
to
much
be able to
truth.
participate in debate. So we'll continue to do everything in our power to make sure that this House continues, but that the people of the province of Ontario and Canada are kept safe.
Supplementary question.
Again, back to the Premier. Here's the RFP. And in the RFP, it uses clear language to express that these camps can be used for a broad spectrum of people, not limited to travelers. Indeed, it doesn't even mention international travelers. It's just a broad latitude of people. And I'll send over the copy of the RFP after. So your government must be in negotiations and aware of these plans to potentially detain and isolate citizens and residents of our country and our province. So, Speaker, to the Premier, where will these camps be built? How many people will be detained?
They're not going to tell you
And
that.
for what reasons? For what reasons can people be kept in these isolation camps?
Any reason they want.
And I'd like to have the Premier assure the people of
especially if you're a truther.
Member, take a seat. The next question.
They just shut them up and move on. They don't answer the question.
I knew they weren't going to answer, but damn.
Is now the right time to buy a car?
Unreal.
It is with Cargaroo's contactless
seat.
services.
They just say, take a seat, next question. Can you believe that? And then you have this slogan being pushed everywhere. Build back better. You have stumbling, bumbling, sleepy Joe unable to string two sentences together, but somehow he's been perfectly trained to string these three words together.
Fucking puppets.
Him, along with
They're
many, many
puppets.
others in Computing Forever here, a fantastic YouTube channel that covers the Cocoa agenda.
The Cocoa.
He lays it out pretty well and talks about some of that here.
Build Back Better. I'm looking forward to getting started.
I like
as
this
soon
guy.
as
I'm
we
gonna have to
can.
subscribe to him,
And
man.
here's
He's
some other
cool.
examples of its usage. The UN used it in an article back in May of 2020, as you can see on screen. And here's an article from probonoaustralia.au dated April 29th, How Australia Can Build Back Better After Coronavirus. Friends of the Earth Europe have an article from April 23rd.
I'm gonna drop his
EU
link
Council,
into the chat
governments
for you
must
guys.
act together to build back better.
Guy we're
The World
listening
Economic
to,
Forum
watching.
used the phrase many times, including on April 3rd, How to Build Back Better After COVID-19. The phrase was also recently used at the Speech from the Throne in Canada.
The third foundation is to build back better to create a stronger, more resilient Canada.
Right. And in the end, these rolling lockdowns to put people into submission, to traumatize them.
Yep.
In order to rebuild them,
break you to
back
yes,
better, similar to
break
what
you
they
and then
do,
mold you into
with,
what they want.
Military grunts when they send them to boot camp. It's about tearing down everything they ever.
The evil elite would love to have a world full of people with Down syndrome or autism, and or because those are so easily moldable, and you know, influenced, programmed.
Were really causing an era of trauma, so that their personality and their structure can be rebuilt to something more useful for the system of the military in that case. This is going to be used as well here with the Cocoa on a massive scale. And that's why they're rolling out the Build
I'm gonna
Back
start
Better,
taking some
because
notes, 'cause
the
the
rolling
thing's popping in my head.
lockdowns will eventually end. And along with that, you'll have the IMF coming in to save the day for these first world nations. The goal is to put many first world nations like Australia, like Canada, etc., put these countries into debt and into a form of austerity where the lockdowns cause such economic turmoil that the countries turn to the IMF to be bailed out with loans, and stipulations to these loans will be austerity measures that you get the loans if you follow these certain guidelines and implement these certain things in your country. That's austerity, and that's part of the agenda as well. You can see here the IMF has urged governments to borrow to fight the impact of the cocoa. And this is something they're pushing very, very largely, and it will get even more intense as November, December, January, and the flu season rolls around, and these
Wow. So this wasn't even this. This is a couple weeks old. Oh boy. Let's hope he's not a Globie. Anyway, all right. So that was that, and we're gonna check on the selection, the puppet selection.
So how do we find a sense to keep up with that?
It's just because it's a process. We just keep on adding that, and then eventually, when we have them all done, you'll know that we'll
Georgia Secretary of State Bruce Raffensperger right there talking about the process they're going through, counting the votes right now in the state of Georgia. I want to bring in TJ Holmes.
225 to 213.
TJ, he sounded fairly confident that they're going to have a full result, not an official result, but they'll have a full result of the count sometime.
I think that they're keeping Biden ahead this whole time. If you know, I mean, they already know who the winner is, but they're trying to keep the country calm. And you know, if they had Trump winning this whole time, that they would be rioting and looting and stuff, right?
early voting, just getting those stacked up to where all they had to do today was put it in a machine, hit a button, and get a tally. Same thing with those absentee, those mail-in ballots. They could essentially open them up, get them set up, ready to go, put them, all they had to do is put them through a machine today. So that's why they got so many of their numbers. But let's bottom line what we just heard there, because, George, you know, we've had numbers coming at us all over the place, different counties, different problems, and tallies up and down. Bottom line here is that the state of Georgia still has about 250,000 votes that need to be tallied. 250,000. Now, we do know, because we've been talking so much about Fulton County here,
Drag it
the most
on,
populous
drag it
county here
on,
in the
drag it
state where
on.
Atlanta is. That is
This
the
is the
county
New
right now
World
that's having the
Order
problems, right? The pipe burst at State
Dog
Farm
and
where
Pony
they were
crap show.
processing and had about a 4-hour delay, where we learned now that they did keep processing after that delay through the night, but they brought in a bigger team this morning that was supposed to process another 42,000 votes that needed to be tallied. So that county, that important county, which is a major Democratic stronghold, that is where Joe Biden could make up some ground.
Democratic.
100,000 votes
and Republican.
ahead. If Joe Biden can make
Garbage,
up ground in
both
that
sides.
county, Fulton, and also neighboring DeKalb County, where they have 70,000 plus votes still yet to be counted, he can make up some ground there.
Garbage. All right, now I know we don't really subscribe to David Icke, but let's just hear what he's saying here, because it says it's a scam. Don't take the mark. Revelation 13. All right. I just want to hear what he's got to say. This is only a 5-minute video.
The world is enough months have passed now. Early on, lots of people were persuaded there was a deadly virus, so they accepted lockdown. But as the months have passed and their personal experience and the government's narrative bear no resemblance to each other, more and more people all over the world, it's increasing all the time, in country after country after country, are realizing
Hey, Bolt
that
Gun,
they
good
are
to see you.
part of a scam they've been had. And the scam is to transform human society using the excuse of this fake virus. So what they're doing is,
Right, Marika, definitely.
of health, they are destroying the world economy, they are destroying people's businesses, and they're destroying people's livelihoods.
I have followed him over the years, off and on. You know, I've kept up with him.
Are designed to finish off so many of the businesses that have hung on for dear life this far. Why? Because when the population has no access to independent employment, they become dependent upon the state. And what they're now starting to suggest more and more loudly and more frequently is something that's been in my books for literally decades. And that's the plan to introduce what they call a guaranteed income. And the guaranteed income will be presented as a way of giving people a survival income, if that, because all the jobs have gone, with AI taking more and more jobs as well. But the
He is correct about a lot of stuff.
is that this will be a benevolent government. Benevolent governments is meant to be worldwide, saying here's some money because we care. It's here's some survival, just if survival income, and there comes with that a few consequences, a few riders. First of all, you have to have the Gates vaccine.
Yep.
Which has an horrific
The shield gates of hell vaccine.
And it won't be one either. It'll be one after the other. You will have to do what the government says. If you don't do what the government says, you don't get it. We have
I've prayed for David Icke too. You know,
where the government's introduced
a lot over the years.
Legislation that says that if you're on state benefits, see guaranteed income that's coming, and you don't have your child vaccinated according to a whole list of government recommended vaccinations, then you lose benefits. And this is a precursor of the guaranteed income, total control. But to bring that about, you have to destroy people's independent access to income and to employment. And that's what the lockdowns are all about. That's why Professor Neil Ferguson owned by Gates, funded by Gates, and Imperial College in London, funded by Gates, owned by Gates, came up with the computer models with the ludicrous projections of deaths, 2.2 million in America and 500,000 in Britain, to justify the lockdown, because the lockdown was essential to this plan to destroy the global economy. And people are starting to get it now, starting to realize that they've been lassoed, and we're starting now to gather together and push back against it. And with
That's what we're supposed to do. Always stand up and speak up against tyranny and evil.
this cult, you could get them in one room. If we don't acquiesce with our own enslavement, we cannot be enslaved. And that is where we are now going, towards this realization that we have to stop acquiescing with our own enslavement. And for me, what businesses should be doing, and people employed by those businesses should be doing with these coming lockdowns, is simply refuse to lock down.
Hey, Tobin, good to see you.
No, I haven't worn a mask. I haven't put any of this toxic shite on my hands. No sanitizer, so none of it. And you know, I've spoken in Trafalgar Square twice to 35, 45,000 people. All the people here today, I basically hugged hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah, imagine that.
And I somehow have survived the frickin' virus. Because it's a scam.
Hey, Carrie.
And the world is waking up to it.
Just checking out the crazy world we live in.
Just begun. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Bravo. That was good. And that was GEVTE that that put that out there. All right. Anyway, did I like that? Okay. All right. Let's see. Then let's check out this message by Reverend Revelation Mark Hardy. He's aware of the Bible changes, and he's a watchman on the wall in Tennessee. I think that's where he's at, and maybe it's West Virginia. I don't know, somewhere around there. Anyway, in the mountains, and he knows what time it is. So let's just check out his message here real quick.
Good morning. God bless each and every one of you. It is 7:40, the 4th of November.
Yes, it is.
Rolling into our winter months now, and got a little bit I'm going to read this morning. And you guys stay bold, stay strong in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Don't have a spirit of fear.
That's right. No fear.
At any of this that's taking place, and remember that this has all been preordained from the beginning, man. Every day, everything that you see happening now, nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new under the fake sun, also.
All right, hang on 1 second. I hear we have some scripture talking about the last days, how he's going to be pouring out his spirit. In Isaiah 32, 2, 3, 4. And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as a shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And the eyes of them that see shall not be dim, and the ears of them that hear shall hearken.
Yep.
The heart also of the rash shall understand knowledge, and the tongue of the stammers shall be ready to speak plainly. A vile person shall be no more called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. For the vile person will speak villainly, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. The instruments also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. And the liberal deviseth liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. These are the times we're living in, you guys. That video we showed last night where it says, where Biden, says working for the souls of a nation, or trying to get the souls of a nation.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
plainly
creepy.
right out there saying it, Here's that picture, you guys, I took. In the sky. Anyhow, excuse me. I want to remind everybody again, you guys, anybody you see what they're doing, anybody that's turning towards man for anything right now.
Yep.
Okay,
Like they
you
are.
don't want to be going there.
So many are.
Okay.
It's unbelievable.
In the history of Egypt, you guys, you see when God brought them out of captivity after so many 100 years or whatever, they turned back to Egypt and they forgot the Lord.
Yeah.
Doesn't take long. When Moses went up in the mountain to get the 10 Commandments, within 40 days they were done. They were there making idols again.
Yep.
Don't be surprised to see what's happening here now. People don't seem to understand how rampant evil is
I know.
in all its ways. Okay. That's why it says here, 31, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not into the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. Yet he also is wise and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against them that work iniquity. This is what you're seeing happening right now. This is what you're actually seeing happening right now, you guys. He's bringing evil against us now. And
Baby's not happy.
now listen to this. Ezekiel 34, 9 and 10. Therefore, ye shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. Thus says the Lord God, behold, I am against the shepherds. I will require my flock at their hand, and cause them to cease from feeding the flock. Neither shall the shepherds feed
The end of the church age.
any more, for I will deliver my flock from their mouth, that they may not be meat for them. For this says the Lord God, behold, I will both search my sheep and seek them out, as a shepherd seeketh out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered. So will I seek out my sheep, and will deliver them out of all places where they have been scattered in the cloudy and dark days. These have been dark days, guys. I've had many, many dreams seeing darkness, man. I had a dream last night, man, where like I was down in a dimly place, man. You say almost like in a cave, a big cave. And then Excuse me. I seen almost like straw, but it looked golden, and it was being rolled out all the way down to where I was at, to where you could walk up safely on it, and have sure footing. But it was all golden, like. Sometimes it's hard to understand these dreams, you guys. And then I also had a dream where I seen some Spanish people over there, and I handed them a food card, and some other Spanish people around there, and I was like telling them, I said, I've seen you someplace before. And
that's interesting.
One of them said it was in Tarshan or something. In Tarshan is where you seen them. And then some of the people got up around there and they walked away like they were upset. All right. Ezekiel 34:13.
Hey, Machine Monkey.
And I will bring them out from the people
Whoa.
and gather them from the countries, and will bring them to their own land, and feed them upon the mountains of Israel, by the rivers, and in all the inhabitants places of the country. I will feed them in a good pasture, and upon the high mountains of Israel shall their fold be there. They shall lie in a good fold, and in a fat pasture shall they feed upon the mountains of Israel. I will feed my flock, and I will cause them to lie down, says the Lord God. I will seek that which was lost, and bring again that which was driven away, and I will bind up that which was broken, and will strengthen that which was sick, and I will destroy the fat and the strong. I will feed them with judgment. And as for you, O my flock, this says the Lord God, behold, I judge between cattle and cattle, between the rams and the goats and the he-goats. Seemeth it a small thing unto you to have eaten up the good pasture? But you must tread down with your feet the residue of your pastures, and have drunk of the deep waters, but you must foul the residue with your feet.
Residue. Hey, that's another time that that residue is in the Bible, folks. I was the one that found residue and shared it with Ia, and Kat, who covers the Bible changes. But yeah, that's one of the times. There's like 12 or 13 times now in the Bible, the word residue. Let's hear it again. Is in the Bible now. The word we use very much, very often in the Mandela effect, community. So here we go.
The residue with your feet. But you must foul the residue with your feet. But you must foul the residue with your feet.
Wow. Man, oh man. There we go.
And as for my flock, they eat that which you have trodden with your feet, and they drink that which you have fouled with your feet. Therefore, thus says the Lord God unto them, behold, I, even I, will judge between the fat cattle and between the lean cattle, because you have thrust with side and your shoulder, and pushed all the disease with your horns, till you have scattered them abroad. Therefore I will save my flock, and they shall no more be a prey. And I will judge between cattle and cattle, and I will set up a shepherd over them.
Separation of wheat and tares.
Even my servant David, he shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd.
Welcome, Ann Foster.
That was on 34:23. All right, you guys, I want to make this a short video. Just want to say to each and every one of you, man, be strong in the Lord. We see these things that are coming on us right now.
No fear.
And trust in the Lord in this right now. Don't have a spirit of fear.
That's right.
But trust in the Lord. It's cold out here.
He's just vaping. No.
Winter's upon us. Okay, you guys, trust in the Lord. Be strong, okay? Remember, he's got everything under control. Don't have no fear of nothing. And we test all spirits, okay? If people aren't taking you to fully trust and submit into the Lord, stay away from them. If anybody's turning you towards man, with anything,
That's right.
stay away from them.
Yes.
God bless you guys. I love you. In the name of our Lord and our Savior, Jesus Christ.
All right. Like I said, Mark Hardy, I've talked to him. Kat, wanted to have both of us on, and I guess we just never put together. But anyway, Mark Hardy does recognize that the Bible has been changed. The scriptures have been changing, and that other supernatural changes are taking place. And he knows how short time is. So, good brother in Christ, and if you will, Reverend, and he's definitely a watchman on the wall. But all right, so that was that. Let me let's go ahead. This is From Darkness to Light, and we'll watch a little bit of this, not the whole thing. It's 40 minutes long. Let me click off of that. My daughter's on the phone, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna play this and mute myself so y'all don't have to hear her. She's very loud. Sorry.
Many before you have traveled from darkness. Seeking the light by which Freemasons work.
I want to see the light.
Come, my friend, and see.
Joe Biden is promising a long, dark, painful winter. Did you see him at the debate? Did anybody see the debate by any chance? No, he said long, dark winter. Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. That's just what our country needs, is a long, dark winter and a leader that talks about it. You know, I didn't have the privilege of going to my basement in the White House. I didn't have the privilege of going to a beautiful room on the second or third floor and staying there for a year and a half because I'm president of the United States. So I didn't have that. I had to do my job. And I said, I could catch this thing. And if I do, I do. And I'm going to get better fast. I didn't know I was going to get better that fast. That was pretty good.
Ella Baker, a giant of the civil rights movement, left us with this wisdom. Give people light, and they will find the way. Give people light. Those are words for our time. The current president has cloaked American darkness for much too long. Too much anger, too much fear, too much division. Here and now, I give you my word. If you entrust me with the presidency, I will draw on the best of us, not the worst. I'll be an ally of the light, not the darkness. It's time for us, for we the people, to come together. And make no mistake, united we can and will overcome this season of darkness in America.
Throughout the civilized world, particularly the Western world, diversity abounds. We see this diversity in our socioeconomic, cultural, and ethnic differences. But hidden beneath the surface, away from the eyes of the casual observer and the merely curious, is another society altogether. A society of secrets, to coin their own phrase. This is the largely invisible world of Freemasonry. I'm Mike Mandel. For the next little while, we'll be examining the beliefs, teachings, and practices of Freemasonry. We'll be speaking with former Masons and reviewing actual Masonic literature to try to gain an objective view of this hidden fraternal order. Our conclusions may prove to be quite startling, but in order to make this material coherent, it's essential to begin with an understanding of what Freemasonry is. Freemasonry defines itself as being a system of morality. The basis of Freemasonry, which all Masons go through, is the Blue Lodge. The Blue Lodge being the first 3 degrees or levels of Freemasonry. Entered apprentice, the first degree, fellowcraft, the second degree, and master mason, the third degree. Most masons never go beyond third degree. Although if one chooses to go beyond the Blue Lodge, there are two routes that can be taken. One is the York Rite, and one is the Scottish Rite. Most Masons who decide to go past the Blue Lodge enter the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. The Scottish Rite has 32 degrees. The 32nd can lead one into the Shriners if one so chooses. The 33rd degree, which does exist, is largely honorary. Author Ian Taylor has extensively researched the origins of modern Freemasonry.
To many people, the very word Freemasonry evokes a sense of mystery, secret society, and so on. But in order to find out what they're all about, we need to know a little history. There were many humanist thinkers back in the 1500s who saw the corruption that there was in the church of the day, and they concluded that in order to get rid of that corruption, they would have to be a new world order. They had read Plato's Republic. Plato's Republic in the 1500s was now a popular work, and Plato too was a Greek philosopher living in the 5th century BC, and he too was totally fed up with the corruption that there was in government. He said, if we could have a group of wise men who were well paid to rule over the people, then there would be no corruption. It's a nice thought, but a rather naive one. We've seen such governments today, and they are totally corrupt. But nevertheless, there are still people today, many people, who think that it is a good idea. This then was the agenda for the humanist thinkers back in the 1500s. But in order to do that, they had to first destroy the existing world order based upon the rules of God through the king and through the church. But to even suggest this would have been seen to be heresy in its day, and they would have lost their heads quite literally. And so they had to go into a secret society. Now, the Freemasons in that day, these were craft masons. These were the men who actually built the cathedrals of the day. They were highly skilled men, and it was like an early trade union, and they wanted to keep the secrets of their skills to themselves. Good reasons for that. And so the humanist thinkers infiltrated into the craft Masonic lodges.
Okay, so I was muted. I'm sorry. I had to go play with my grandson for a few minutes there. So yeah. Anyway, I guess we will. Let's take a break here for a minute, and I want to play that song again. There's some new people here anyway, so I want to play ODD's new song again. I had the volume down a little bit anyway when I first played it. If I can find it again, let's see. Yeah, here it is, The Twilight Zone. So I'll at least play a few minutes of it or whatever. But this is first time I heard it was earlier with y'all. I'd listened to a few minutes of it before the show, but the whole song anyway was first time I listened to it was with y'all. Sorry. And here we go. I want to hear it again.
We're living in the Twilight Zone. We're living in the Twilight Zone. These crazy days that we live in just cause me aches and pains. Lately, my life is like a season of Stranger Things. This place is flooded with demons and they invade your brains. This is an artificial hell and they create the flames. Day to day, I just try to stay strong and make it through. Wake people up from their slumber, that's what I came to do. Please don't believe what you see on TV and think it's true. It's all just targeted programming and it's aimed at you. It's everywhere. You're getting lied to and yet you barely care. People with common sense are now very rare. But the way that they brainwash you isn't very fair. They can shove that mind control programming up their derriere. I do not consent to the way they tailor society. Ain't no variety. Plus, I really hate when they lie to me. I use music as a tool to release the anger inside of me. You don't know how fucking crazy it's driving me. That we're living in the Twilight Zone. They claim you have freedom, but they don't honor it. The world is a prison and you're the occupant. We're living in the Twilight Zone. The government's useless and they're incompetent. And Satan satanic pedophiles are prominent. We're living in the things that you believe are the total opposite. And being called crazy is just a compliment. We're living in it's ran by the New World Order conglomerate. But there's a storm coming and there's no stopping it. We're living in
it's where we live and control you to fear and terrorism. They want to keep you in a mental prison where they tell you vision through the television. Where the ignorance is bliss and they just keep you living in it. You're a business, getting us citizenship. What did you really think that your birth certificate is? Get the straw man on. Money isn't paid, it's all the bank note. It's only a bill exchange when you pay that loan. Like a monopoly game, but you can't pass go. When you turn on the TV, y'all did. You get politically entertainment. The news that you see is all suggestive. Lower brain frequencies contribute to our stress. And you're responding, telling me that we're free living in this country. Military overseas and it's all for our peace. Just a record on repeat from the programming. I probably want a cracker. Put you through education for domestication, control of my pastor. Giving you medication to poison our masses. If you ever question what's coming from our masters. And you're rocking the boat, or you're ever having any thoughts of your own. You better hope you never caught rocking alone. To be locked up a road off by the echo. Got your life looking like a sci-fi show. Brain scribbling when the Wi-Fi's on. Airplane mode when I buy my phone. If your eyes wide closed.
We're living in the they claim you have freedom, but they don't honor it. The world is a prison and you're the occupant. We're living in the government's useless and they're incompetent. And satanic pedophiles are prominent. We're living in the things that you believe are the total opposite. And being called crazy is just a compliment. We're living in it's ran by the New World Order conglomerate. But there's a storm coming and there's no stopping it. We're living in I ask myself, why do I even bother? Cause people are just like sheep that are lining up for the slaughter. If they're killing rats with fluoride, then why is it in the water? They're using the news to fool us, divide us so they can conquer. The longer you stay asleep, then the longer I'm gonna scream at you. I can't believe you let them deceive you, it's inconceivable. I won't stop until you wake up and do what you need to do. This world is overran with an evil that is unspeakable. Most people don't know, so they just vote and pay taxes. The devil's hiding in the shadows and controlling their actions. And they think that the earth is a spinning globe on its axis. But I don't have any time to devote to this madness. I have nobody to relate to, so I ride alone. Just me and all these wild thoughts that are inside my dome. I feel like I don't belong here and I can't find my home. I'm tripping and I'm wishing it was different, but we're living in the they claim you have freedom, but they don't honor it. The world is a prison and you're the occupant. We're living in the government's useless and they're incompetent. And satanic pedophiles are prominent. We're living in the things that you believe are the total opposite. And being called crazy is just a compliment. We're living in it's ran by the New World Order conglomerate. But there's a storm coming and there's no stopping it. We're living in
and there's nowhere that we can go. Awaken now, I'm feeling all alone.
We're living in
and the rest that remain asleep, sedated and still thinking that we're free.
We're living in
and there's nowhere that we can go. Awaken now, I'm feeling all alone.
We're living in
and the rest that remain asleep, sedated and still thinking that we're free.
We're living in
We got the right cast. Plaster, Sebastian, D Marble to keep it snapping. Baghdad, ODD in the deck, come to send a packet. Yeah, we even got the flat earth man up in here rapping. We got the truth and we sharing the same passion. The earth is flat and they're lying to hide the true creator. No truth is greater than the truth of the Yahusha save. NASA in Hebrew, it means to deceive you. So please go review the lies that they feed you. Eyes wide open so the forgery is see-through. Time's up, liars, it's over, we don't believe you. Eat, sleep, debunk the globe, repeat. Remix. Eat, sleep, debunk the globe, repeat. Remix.
Eat, sleep, debunk the globe, repeat. Eat, sleep, debunk the globe, repeat. Once you go flat, you don't go back. Got a bunch of clothes back at home up in the trash. I'm not even really tripping if I get laughed at. Everybody here's about to get flat tonight.
Hey Sue, good to see you. Hey Robert.
Like
hey,
around
hey,
from
hey.
Mother
Sizman. Hey,
Photoshop, red carpet cartoon.
Michael
It's
still in
spinning
the house.
like a top. Is
So
the
good.
deal you buy? Better take a second taste that salted word of God. So
Foster.
let me explain. You
I'll
live
get your rinse
on a
here shortly,
plane.
Ian.
Go ahead,
Team Monkey,
observe.
Bolt
You
Gun,
won't find
Voynich,
a rising
Marika,
curve. So
Barry,
let me
Vicky.
expound. Yeah, I know it's round. No glow floating high, flat more like your pizza pie.
Top of the morning, it's your boy Calico. I'm out here flat smacking, but in fact they don't hear me though. Probably for the same reason Jesus spoke in parables. Sign language don't work when you're blind and your hearing's dope. Man, I used to hit them hard. I hit them with the facts in. Used to lick my knuckles, flat smack them with the backhand. Now I leave clues. Yep, that's how I does it. Like Michael J. Fox and Mickey D's. I'm dropping nuggets. I'm dropping nuggets. They love it. Man, the searchers was wanted. Man, they seek it, they find it, and then they keep it 100. Every once in a while, man, you find me hang around with my hand cocked back, covered in baby powder. A flat smack. A flat smack. Got 6 about mil to have my back. Flat smack. Flat smack. Man, this globe so old, seem to grown some mold. Flat smack. Flat smack. Man, I'm sorry about the lies that you've been told. Flat smack.
Flat smacking activists rapping about the fact that it's a flat plane. Open your brain, we've been playing trapped in this lie since the beginning of time. Father of them all had a mind thinking we were monkeys on a flying water ball, spinning around 1,000 miles an hour as we chase the sun. Why's Polaris in the same spot facing sun? Water's flat and that's that, and that's a waste of funds. Why would they lie? 19 billion a year laser guns. It's more than just the shape of the earth being flat, yo. The whole creation under God is under attack. Facts, bro. Air, food, and water, poison in my
yeah,
daughter,
420 somewhere.
Water, baby with the bath water. Revelation is happening while I'm rapping. I'm patiently trying to wake up my neighbors and getting slapped in the face. And my family thinks I'm a waste. And the tribulation is greater than any hater could face. Flat smacking a hater. Never stop flat smacking till the ball drops. Never stop flat smacking till the ball drops. I'll never stop flat smacking till the ball drops. That ball.
You like that? That feel good? That feel good?
Eat, sleep, debunk the globe, repeat. Eat, sleep, debunk the globe, repeat. Once you go flat, you don't go back. Got a bunch of globes back at home up in the tracks. I'm not even really tripping if I get laughed at. Cause everybody here about to get flat smacked. Yeah, you must have heard of me. I'm the flat earth man. Flat smacking with my songs across the flat land. Listen to my music and try to prove me wrong. I'm killing the globe with each and every song. NASA and scientism, they mad at me. Because of my songs like Don't Believe in Gravity. My songs are for teaching, they got real information. I'm musically smashing the globe, indoctrination.
Let me introduce myself in case you don't know me. I'm a known globe killer, call me ODD. This world isn't what you thought, nope, not at all. So it's time to stop spinning and get off the ball. They say ignorance is bliss, but I like knowing the truth. If we really live on a sphere, why can't they show us the proof? You've never seen the curvature, just wipe that one from your list. How could you ever witness something if it doesn't exist? Tell me that. Flat smacking them back into reality. The galaxy they teach us is crap and it's a fallacy. Teaching theories is fact and it's a tragedy. When Earth is stationary and flat in actuality. And NASA pictures always look so great. You can tell that they ain't real because they look so fake. Nobody landed on the moon and outer space is a lie. The Earth is flat, I'm gonna say it till the day that I die.
You're just another victim of the system, but lyrically we lynch them. Cause never will we give it, the truth lies hidden. It's stationary still, so take the red pill. And I ain't gotta wait for you to catch up. You think it's raining upside down in Australia? You believe we got astronauts in the sky? I ain't here to save you, you a waste of time.
Eat, sleep, debunk the globe, repeat. Eat, sleep, debunk the globe, repeat.
Tell me why these boats sail flat. Tell
I'll
me why
drop
these
a link.
planes
I got
fly
you.
flat. Water's water,
It's a
always
mix.
find its way flat. Everything I learned from my control, I give back. It's not up for discussion, debate, me flat smack. Reppin' FEC, we peeled off hot facts. Like, where's Mars at? Where's Venus at? And while we ain't seen that, ain't no live CGI for the naked eye. Only screenshots and ink spots when they lie. And they like, oh hell, that's pseudoscience Photoshop, I'm a passer.
It's a spirit level guy repping FE crew. Steady putting in the work to bring the FE truth. Opposition forces working trying to stifle the flow. The earth is flat and stationary, I'm just letting you know. You've been deceived about space, let me make that clear. Now the moon's inside the earth's atmosphere. The cabal is in fear, trying to move the goalposts cause we're nearing the punchline of this globe joke. How we live on a ball with so many flat surfaces and globes aren't meant for educational purposes. The world we've been taught isn't quite what it seems. Let me stop it right here and get back on my routine cause I eat, sleep, debunk the globe, repeat. I eat, sleep, debunk the globe, repeat.
ODD on fire. ODD and friends on fire. Wow. Love it, love it, love it. He's put out a few videos here in the last week. Mega Mix Part 1, Mega Mix Part 2. Truth about Planned Parenthood there, a little 4-minute one there. I ain't scared to play that.
April 5th, 2016. This is an idyllic Southern California spring day. As I'm walking out to take the kitchen garbage out, I turn around the corner and pass a big white windowless van. All of a sudden the door swings open and this tall uniformed guy steps out and he has a piece of paper in his hands and he says, "Are you David Daleiden?" And he says, "I'm with the California Department of Justice. We have a search warrant for your home." And he hands me the warrant. And I think to myself, oh gosh, you know, what's going to happen next? So about 5 or 6 California DOJ agents started stomping through my apartment. The other 5 of them standing on the lawn outside. Some of them were armed with AR-15s. Some of them had canine dogs with them. They had come for me. In 2013, I began and orchestrated an almost 3-year-long, very in-depth, comprehensive investigative journalism study about the harvesting and trafficking of body parts from late-term abortions. There's multiple violations and multiple issues that you very quickly start to learn about when you look into it. There's the basic problem of selling body parts, where you're basically creating a system, creating transactions, creating business relationships that incentivize the objectification and the destruction of human beings in order to keep the business going. So for about 30 months, we went undercover with the explicit purpose of partnering with some of the biggest Planned Parenthood abortion clinics in the country to send their technicians in, harvest body parts from the abortions that were being done that day, and then package up the parts and ship them off to different customers all around the country, sometimes around the world. In July of 2015, we began to release the undercover video series. I had been hoping that this was something that would, that would maybe generate 100,000 views or something. Instead, what happened was even bigger than I could have imagined. Within less than a week, we had close to 3 million views on YouTube of the first video, and multiple congressional committees announcing that they were launching federal investigations of Planned Parenthood's involvement in fetal trafficking and fetal experimentation. The truth got out there, and the words of Planned Parenthood's own leadership describing their organization's participation in these activities went viral and was being publicized for the whole world to see. Looking back on it from the information that we know now, I now know what was going on was that Kamala Harris, at the explicit instruction of Planned Parenthood, had targeted me and me alone among all undercover video news gatherers in the state of California to enforce the California video recording law against me and to punish me for speaking the truth about her powerful campaign donors at Planned Parenthood. What we've come to learn in the years since, just 2 weeks before serving the search warrant on my home, Kamala Harris had a secret meeting in Los Angeles with several top-level executives of Planned Parenthood in California. We then found out from the California DOJ investigator reports that Planned Parenthood's top lawyer in California had specifically instructed the California DOJ agents that Planned Parenthood wanted the video equipment and the computers that I was using to publish the videos to be seized, in order to shut me up, in order to prevent me from continuing to publish the truth about Planned Parenthood's involvement in fetal trafficking, and in order to punish me for speaking out with a message that was disfavored by Planned Parenthood and by Kamala Harris in the state of California. I think what people have to understand about organizations like Planned Parenthood and about their political backers like Kamala Harris is that they're shameless, and they will do whatever they have to do in order to promote their agenda. They'll say whatever they have to say, and they are not afraid to use every bit of power at their disposal to force their agenda through. Kamala Harris is the single greatest threat to First Amendment civil liberties that our country has ever seen. If Kamala Harris is elected to be a heartbeat away from the highest office in the United States of America, you will have someone in the White House who has a radical contempt and disrespect for First Amendment civil liberties, someone who believes that she's entitled to use the powers of her office in order to punish the viewpoints of citizens who disagree with her.
Imagine that. All right. Wow. Put the truth out there. Oh, good to see everyone. Man, oh man, oh man. I'm not sure if I've shared everything yet. Let's see. Oh yeah, that was still playing too in the background. Let's get it live though.
In government should take a lesson, it seems, from what happened. This is the largest vote in the history of our democracy. Both candidates blasted through the records of the number of people voting for them than any candidate in history. So this is the voice of the people, like it or not. And I think one of the things that Biden is going to want to do, obviously, is try to find ways to respond and try to unify the country, and much harder, I think, the Congress. But there are ways to do that. Everybody says you got to run to the center. Well, if he does look at how lots of progressive policies poll, everything from paid family leave to increasing the minimum wage to all kinds of very progressive policies requiring publicly traded companies to put a worker on their board of directors, all those things make a difference, and he could maybe move to the center that way.
Okay, we want to go to the state. Thank you, Terry. We want to go to the state of Wisconsin right now. Wisconsin's Elections Commission is about to hold a press conference there in Wisconsin. As we said, through the night, Joe Biden has opened up more of a lead over Donald Trump. Let's listen in.
I'm not going to stay on this long, guys. Don't worry. Just a couple minutes, so they can't even get their propaganda right. She doesn't know she's live.
Well, this is the modern era right now, or I should
Yeah.
say the COVID era. Zoom press conference about to get started there in Wisconsin. It's not quite set up yet. Matthew Dad, let me bring you in. Actually, now it does appear they are about to start. Let's listen in.
Great. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Megan Wolf. I'm the administrator
Of
the
course, her
Wisconsin
last name's
Elections
Wolf.
Commission
Oh my
and the state of
goodness.
Wisconsin's chief election official.
Let's listen to the
So
wolf.
Wisconsin's counting and reporting of unofficial results has gone according to law. Our municipal and county clerks have worked tirelessly throughout the night to make sure that every valid ballot has been counted
She howled all
and
through the
reported
night.
accurately. Today, the Wisconsin Elections Commission staff will be standing ready to assist clerks as they start the process of triple checking the results. The statutorily
check
required
these.
canvass process begins today before we can certify those results. This includes the random selection of 5% of voting equipment that's used in this election, which must be audited to make sure that the paper tally is the same as the voting equipment.
Right,
So all
Marika?
those things have to happen before
Let's
we
blow
have
it up.
certified results. Yesterday's voting process and election night counting went very well in Wisconsin and across the country. Despite more absentee ballots, the evening proceeded
You're
in a
funny.
very normal fashion. Our election was executed with precision, and it's also, every step of the process is publicly observable, and I think that's really important. Every step of the elections process is publicly observable. You can observe election day and voters casting their ballot.
Because it's all
You can
fake
observe the votes
anyway.
being tallied at night.
Don't matter.
The voter registration records are public information. The absentee data is public information. Each of the
Yeah,
results
like we can go verify
are
these
posted
people are real.
on the
Give me a
county's
break.
websites. So again, our job as election administrators is to follow the law. And what the law says that on election night, that each municipality submits their unofficial results, unofficial being the key word, to their county, and the county then posts the unofficial results by reporting unit on their website. There is no certified election night aggregate of results. That is according to state law. That is not a process that we made up or adopted. That is according to state law, and we followed state law. Part of democracy is following the laws that have been prescribed by our elected lawmakers. And the elected lawmakers have prescribed this process for canvassing in our
West
jurisdictions. I'm incredibly proud of the work done by Wisconsin's election officials, and I feel 100% confident in the election that they conducted, and that the laws that are established by our elected lawmakers were followed in yesterday's election. So there's no calling elections at the state level, right? That's called certification. And certification is a very meticulous, careful process that commences with the certification at the state level on December 1st.
Hey, Marika, maybe
That
that is
point,
blood
there is
stained
no
on her
statewide
face.
aggregate. There is no
And
calling
she's
of
been
the election.
she's been eating
Any of
something
those
bloody all
predictions
night.
that
I
you're
don't know.
hearing are predictions by the media and other groups based on unofficial results. And I just think that's so important. And I know for so many of us, we've spent the last few months talking about this on end, talking about the mechanics of how the process works. And so I think, as we head into today, it's really important to continue to convey
I'm
that
just
message
messing around.
that we've all been working so hard to understand exactly how the process works and bring those mechanical facts to Wisconsin voters. Unfortunately, earlier this morning, I may have misspoken about all of the unofficial results being in from our municipal clerks around the state. So again, we have 1,850 municipal clerks around the state. And it looks like, according to looking through, again, all those county websites, that every single one of those jurisdictions has submitted their unofficial results, except for one tiny township of less than 300 voters. And they're working to get their ballots finished and counted and posted as we speak. And so beyond that, we have no reason to believe that there are any other ballots that have not yet been counted and included as part of those unofficial totals. But again, the canvass process, so important, right? The canvass process is where the municipal election officials double check all of the results to make sure that they have the correct number of registrations, to make sure that everything checks out. Then the counties, they do the same. So today at 4 o'clock is actually the deadline for the municipalities to start their canvass process and to then route the materials over to the counties where they start their certification process at the county level. They again do those double checks. All this publicly observable. You can go watch in your local communities. If you're skeptical about the process, engage.
You
can
should
go
be
watch the process
skeptical
in your
about
local community.
politics, period.
And so then it goes to the
It's all
county
corrupt.
level. They do their double checks. From there, it comes to the
take
state.
it anymore.
By state law, on December 1st, at the public meeting of the Wisconsin Elections Commission, is when those results are certified. And that's when we will have the official winner. We'll have the official results of the election.
Official lottery winner.
At that December 1st meeting.
You won the
as
presidency.
prescribed by state law. And so with that, I don't know, Reed, if you had any other background you want to lend, then we can open it up for some questions.
No thanks. All right, let me just see here. Ooh, that goes on and on and on. Yeah. No thanks. Kenneth Copeland Ministries was live earlier.
To morning prayer.
Well, good morning and happy Wednesday. Welcome to Morning Prayer. My name is Catherine Hanley. I'm going to be your host this morning, and I'm joined by Pastor Spencer Nordike.
Praise God. This is a good day.
It is a good.
Kenneth Copeland Ministries. Ooh. He's got 248,000 subscribers that are fooled by his falseism. His falseism. Ugh. Sorry, I call him out. where you're allowed to call out false teachers, preachers. Trust me in that, and you should expose them. So, just looking here, what's going on the YouTube. Not much. All right, so look here, see if anything else is. Take a minute. This is going to be in a different language.
E aí eu não entendo como as pessoas não compreendem isso. Acha que nós vamos ficar aqui nas nações, marca da besta vai vir. Tem pessoas pós-tribulacionistas que não entendem isso, ou seja, não leem os profetas. Acha que nós vamos ficar aqui, que nós vamos morrer, que nós vamos viver no meio desse mundo todo conectado. Ou seja, não estão preparando o povo para o que há de vir. Está dizendo que você vai morrer, mas nem todos vão morrer. O que adianta ser pós-tribulacionista e não te dar a direção? Está dizendo que todo mundo vai ter que morrer, mas Paulo fala que terão pessoas vivas no final, para a vinda do Senhor. E se terão pessoas vivas no final, não vai ser aqui, dentro das nossas casas, trabalhando, pagando luz, pagando água, pagando internet. Não vai ser aqui.
6G,
vai ser muito longe do sistema. Agora, para um pré-tribulacionista, todas essas coisas perdem sentido e eles vão ficar nessa cegueira, continuar nessa cegueira total. Até que, se Deus tiver misericórdia, acordem eles, para ficarem bem envergonhados de tanta besteira que eles falaram. Então, Deus fez questão de profetizar o deserto passado para profetizar o deserto futuro. E essa mensagem é diretamente para nós entendermos o que nós temos que fazer então. Tem pessoas também que, após verem isso e entenderem que está bem conectado, está bem explicado, ficam doidas. O que eu tenho que fazer então? Quando que eu tenho que ir para o deserto? Será que eu tenho que acumular coisa lá? Aonde? Que deserto? No Brasil não tem deserto. Aonde eu vou? Fica toda desesperada. Entende a mensagem primeiro. Entende a palavra de Deus.
Patrick's going live at 10 tonight.
Deus não vai levar uma.
So this is a Portuguese man warning people about the tribulation period being what I think it is, 21 through 28, and he was talking about 6G, which is a real thing, and 6G being hive mind control. Technology to enslave everyone. So it's good to see, even though we don't understand what he's saying, we can read at the bottom, basically what he's saying. It's translated, but it's just good to see truthers around the world trying to wake people up and alert them to what's going on, how close we are to the end of the church age.
10, 100 pessoas, 1000 somente, para lugares.
Thousands only for places far away from the earth.
Também, por outro lado, dá para entender. Tem canais dizendo que a primeira trombeta já tocou. Tem canais dizendo que a grande tribulação vai começar ano que vem. E tem pessoas que, às vezes, até chega a ser convincente. Engana as outras que não estudam. A mim não me engana. Então, acaba gerando uma aflição nas pessoas. Porque elas não são pré-tribulacionistas, fazem bem. Elas acreditam que não vão poder ficar aqui, acreditaram. Mas também está acreditando que a tribulação começa ano que vem. Sei lá, mesmo que for daqui 2, 3 anos. Aí a pessoa tem filho pequeno, tem às vezes até bebê e já fica desesperado, desesperada. Aí esses canais que têm uma pitada sensacionalista estão errando, estão dizendo que nós estamos no 5º selo. Aonde que nós estamos no 5º selo? Isso é...
All right. Anyway, that was that. Let's just see what else is going on here now.
Election official there in the state of
Still
Wisconsin.
talking to that. Woof. Okay. All right. So at this point, I've been on for an hour and a half. I will throw the link out there. My daughter went somewhere. Probably for have lunch with her fiance, whatever. There's the link to join me if you'd like to join me. And I think, let's see, it's 11:44 here on 11/4. 11:44 on 11/4. Hey, Voynich, what's up, brother man? I'll stop screen share.
Hey, man.
Ooh, you got the flu?
Yeah, well, no. Yeah, I'm a bit, well, not the flu, but I got a bit of not a sore throat, but
okay, yeah,
a bit under the weather, so to say. I think the word.
It's all good. I had the flu a couple weeks ago for like 2 weeks, man, almost 10 days at least.
Yeah,
but I got through it. It's all good.
No, I don't have nothing serious. Just a raspy throat.
Hey, Patrick, welcome.
Patrick,
hey guys.
Hey, man.
Hey, Voynich.
What's up with you? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I was just calling in to let you guys know how I feel about this fucking elections, which we all know it shouldn't really, we know it's all bullshit anyways, but they sure are trying to steal that fucker from Trump, though, I think, I honestly believe this is how a civil war is going to start.
Huh. So you think that it's gonna Joe's gonna get it and then it'll be on? Is that what you're saying? Possibly.
Yeah. I think that it's gonna show that Biden.
Hold on. You're
Trump, like he said already. We're gonna take this.
Let me.
Can you hear me?
You were fading out a little bit. Let me. I stopped my camera. Hopefully that'll help you. Go ahead. Try again.
Yeah, I was just saying that. Hold on, I'll plug my earphones in and see if that helps out any. I know you're probably talking about.
This sounds good. It's just it's not an issue with your phone, with your mic.
Okay, well, I just put my earphones in anyways. So anyways, I think that Biden is gonna win this, and he's not gonna win it, but I mean the media. I can see plain as day. The media is playing along with this. Biden's actually winning, and he's actually got these numbers. So yeah, I can see.
I couldn't imagine. I mean, I think it more or less has to do with they portray what they want, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's what they are portraying, and that's what they're focusing on.
Right.
And just like the previous time that Trump got elected, everybody in the world said, "Oh, it's going to be Hillary," and only me and my friend then said, "No, it's going to be Trump." It's obvious, and it's obvious, and it's even more obvious today. I mean, it is obvious that Trump is going to win. It's impossible. I mean,
he should win.
It's not that I really care because but you cannot put a total senile there. At least Trump knows how to act and still has some blood in his guts, But you can't say that from Biden. I mean, that man is wrong in so many ways. I mean, it's impossible for him to win.
The evil elite.
What I'm saying is they're stealing the damn thing. They're trying to steal it, and it's going to upset the masses so much that their Trump didn't get in to win this. So I believe there will be a massive uprising. I literally thought it was going to come from the Biden side before this. Now I can see clearly it's going to come from the Trump side, the uprising. All
right, look, they are they are keeping people calm and docile by keeping Joe ahead, because the Democrats, just like last time, the Democrats are going to freak out when he gets reelected. Especially now that they've had it looking like Joe the whole time, they're going to go, "Oh, this is crazy. This is a conspiracy." Blah blah blah. And that So see, but then at the same token, of course they're going to be, the Trump lovers are going to be mad if Joe wins. Whatever. But the elite don't care who wins. They don't care. They don't care. They're going to keep on with their B system. Don't forget that. So but I think that seriously, if all this time they would have had Trump ahead, then they would have been already riots and protests by people that can't stand him.
But that's what they want. So I don't understand why. That's what they want, though. I don't get why.
They've got so many plans and agendas going at the same time, and backup plans. It's complicated, but they're definitely pushing ahead, no matter who wins, to enslave us all.
Right, definitely.
Oh,
I mean, I guess that would upset people more. The Biden side, I get, you're right. It would upset them more to let Trump. Yeah, I get you.
Last minute.
It's like you said, Tommy. It's going to be a shit show anyway, whether it's one or the other. And we all feel it coming, Patrick. I mean, whether it's like a civil war or total tyranny within months. I mean,
I just had my landlady up here, and she was like, she's like pissed off, and you would think she'd be happy because she came to collect the rent, so she got some money in her pockets, but she was like throwing shit. She's like, I can't believe that they're doing this to Trump, and she's like, have you seen what's happening? I said, yeah, I see what's happening. And then before I got anything out of my mouth, she's like, before I left the house, they had them at such and such percentages, and I'm like, wow, she's like on top of this. She's not tearing herself away. She literally had to tear herself away from the screen to come collect the rent from me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty serious case of indoctrination, huh?
Yeah.
That's why I keep reminding people, no matter what, we know how the story ends, and it's fortunately millions or billions of people will go along with the beast system that they're implementing worldwide right now, and it's because they're beat down, and they're going to be hungry and whatnot. People are going to give in and just give in, but we have been through too much in our lives personally, specifically us, in this community, and others like-minded like us, and whatever like us, period. We have been we've been hardened into the kind of person that can overcome this, right?
I might hope so, but
well, there you go. Well, it's better to have hope in that than to have hope in a system that wants to enslave you, right?
Right.
Goodness. Yeah.
Do you see the solution? The solution is just going rogue, well, not rogue, but
going against the system, thinking and living outside the box. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's like not only just try to live outside. I mean, it's gonna be pretty extreme pretty soon. Within a year, you're gonna have to. Within a year, you're gonna have to sow your seeds and collect it, and be happy if you find some meat for the winter. I think it's gonna be.
I know. Yeah.
I'll tell you something. This mask thing is getting out of fucking hand. Also, my ex-girlfriend, as you probably all know, is black. Okay.
Yeah.
Today she went to Firestone to get her oil changed and have the vehicle looked over. They literally, I mean, this had nothing to do with her color. It had to do with her face mask, but they made her stand outside for 45 minutes while they did the job. They would not allow her inside. So people who were wearing the mask got to stay inside and sit down and watch TV or whatever. She had to stand out fucking side. And if I was close enough, I'm like 40 minutes away. If I would have known that, I wanted to drive there and go and fucking have a nice little discussion with these people. But she said, no, don't do that. Please don't do that. And I was like, all right, fine. But this is really pissing me off. It's not only you, it has to do with these masks. And, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I just think it's bullshit.
We all know it's bullshit, and they know it's bullshit. These people, they buy masks and it says on the package, not for medical goals, right? Don't use it in a medical way.
Yeah.
So it's. I mean, the only way that these masks protect is saliva. When you might be doing an operation, you don't drool inside the people that you operate on as a doctor.
Yeah.
And beyond that, or maybe you use it when you make a circuit board, right? You don't want any moisture on your circuit board,
Oh yeah, or sanding, you don't want.
Yeah,
that.
Yeah. But other than that, it's so, and people know it. People know it. They know it.
Yeah, I was standing in line the other day, and people, it's catching up to them though, because this girl in front of me, she kept coughing, and she had a deep, you could hear it. You could hear her lungs were really fucked up, and she was coughing, and she literally didn't move the mask or anything. She literally coughed in the mask, and didn't do anything. Didn't you would think you would, after coughing in the mask, you'd remove it to kind of get some fresh air or something. Nope, she just kept it right there, and the whole time she was standing in line.
Incredible.
I'm just like, oh my God, these people.
So yeah, that's also what I see, and that's why I cry daily, man. Well, not daily, but every 2 days, it just overruns me, man. And
I get it.
I don't burst out in tears, but it wells up, and
you have to take a break once in a while. I literally had to take. That's why I haven't been on the internet for the last 3 days, pretty much. I check in here and there, but I had to pull back a little bit.
Yeah, but I it's also when I walk the streets or when I see all these people, all them wearing masks, or I see somebody wearing a mask in the car, or.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what I literally just pulled back from everything. This kind of, it's just getting to be overwhelming. You're not waking. Nobody's waking up. Nobody's listening.
Oh.
And you see the kids running around with the mask on, and they feel they look at they treat it like it's normal now. Like it doesn't. It's just normal for them now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I know. I get you, Boeing. It just works you up. I get it.
What saddens me is how deep and strong the delusion is on people, and not just people, but good people. I mean, seriously, man, because there are a lot of good people out there that just have allowed themselves to be, deceived, and that saddens me. People that you would just that aren't evil, but they just, they lost their way, man, and that's why it's so important for us to not be hypocrites, for us to walk the talk, and try and be here for. I'm talking to us creators on here. I'm not, but also, I mean, everybody needs to be, be Christ-like. If I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, and it will only help you get through this all. But we know time is short, if not just almost completely out. I mean, we've been saying short for a while. We are just right there. 2021, through 2028 is what I think the tribulation period is, the 7-year tribulation period. And just think about it. It starts off in the winter, folks. 2021 is starting off in the winter, like every new year does. That's winter, deep into winter. That's when it doesn't even start really getting super cold until till January and even February here in Florida, Northwest Florida. So just keep that in mind. It could be a dark winter, still to come. I see what you're saying, Patrick, when you see it really popping off pretty quick, but who knows? We are on God's timeline, and He has already delayed, if you will, us going to us being in a FEMA camp. I firmly believe, even though I don't follow politics,
I think you're right.
I firmly believe that if Hillary had gotten in, I and others like me would have been in a FEMA camp already, a re-education camp, whatever. So there's that. So could the same thing happen if Joe gets in, NWO Joe? It could speed things up, but that's about as far as I want to go with saying anything on that subject. I mean, y'all can comment, but anyway.
Yeah, I think you're right on target.
Well, let's see what happens. There's no telling. We just found out who the Dark Pope is, so that's huge. It's still huge. That's like the biggest thing.
I mean, I'm sorry to cut you off, Tommy, but I'm sitting here thinking, I know, just like y'all, we know it's gonna get crazy, but when the shit happens, it still baffles me. It still surprises me. I still can't believe that this is happening. I mean, there's new shit happening all the time, but like when she called me and said they're making me wait outside because I won't put a mask on, I was like, are you fucking serious? Now just think, if it was really cold, they should already have a room set up for people that don't want to wear a mask. They should have a separate place already set up in that building for that to happen. Not put them outside and bring a chair outside so they can sit down. That's crazy.
They told me that because I had to find a new dentist, and they told me, yeah, if you don't wear a mask, you might want to wait outside. And I just, that's what they said yesterday. I was there today, and I didn't have to wait outside. But I'm like, man, they're not gonna do this to me. They're not gonna.
Yeah.
They do this to people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, good to see you. Joe Dirt, Vicky, West Texas, Jeanette, and so on and so on. Robert, Craig, Machine Monkey, Voynage in the house already here. Patrick, so yeah, appreciate all you people being here. And so, do y'all want to check back on the selection, the public selection, or just keep rolling on?
Keep doing what you're doing, Tommy. I enjoy your clips that you're finding.
Well, I try to just bring what's relevant, and just and I'm always, of course, comparing what's going on with the Bible and Revelation, and
I appreciate the info that you're getting out there, Tommy. I'm so fucking glad you're still here, because we need this right now.
I took notes earlier, and I loved how the guy kept saying Coco. So like cuckoo for Coco, like he was, calling COVID Coco, so I wrote that down. And then, like I was saying earlier too, the New World Order would love a world full of only people that are either have Down syndrome and or autism, and that's so that it would be easier for them to control them, enslave them, and everything. But also I wrote down the word mutants, because imagine what a human that becomes like a mutant, which they're trying to do, to everybody really. But of course, them, I'm sure they have special mutant stuff for the elite, and so imagine how easy it would be for these mutant humans with their little so-called powers, whatever superhuman powers, they have plans for all that crap. It's not already it's already in play or whatever. But so to a world full of, and I'm not saying they're even going to achieve that, but still, the sheeple they've got, they're almost like people with Down syndrome or autism anyway, because they've fallen for the deceptions. But it would be so easy for them to control these people when they have these so-called superhuman powers now. Sorry, in the near future. So, and that's why I also think that David Icke has been right all this time about them actually being reptilians. They are or will become like reptilians in the end too. With all these DNA changes and whatnot. But so I don't know if y'all want to comment on any of that, but that's what I wrote down earlier when I was taking notes on some of the stuff we were watching.
Well, I've had the experience, and I know there's other beings around us that are unhuman, inhumane, and I don't know what they is, Anunnaki or reptilians or whatever it is, but they're not benevolent, and they are imposters, and they are destroyers, and they can morph into anything. It's just like a devil.
Yeah.
Devils.
Like
These are
demons.
just like demons. They can just. There's this cartoon in which there's this bloated red shiny devil, and which constantly transforms into something or somebody else, and then always pestering the protagonist of the cartoon. I don't know what it's called, but it's like that. This world, many that it's like different people might just be the same entity.
Yeah. And do you think maybe that's one of the reasons that they've been spraying is to hide their this thing has come back to join them, to like extra of their people have come back, and they're going to help trying to take over us. Maybe, I don't know.
Could be. Yeah, of course they use humans against humans. That's what they do.
It seems like they've been trying to hide something, from us seeing something up in the sky.
Yeah, they definitely don't want us to see the war in heaven going on. See, that's a big part of it there. But of course, the geoengineering has many agendas attached to it, including trapping in the heat so they can pretend that it's global warming happening. That's a huge part of it, because it's real. If you make a spider web of clouds, it traps, it definitely traps in the heat that usually would escape, and that's no good. That will cause ice to melt and stuff, whatever problems, heating problems. So they want to play God. They want to own the weather. That's been their goal for 30 some years. And they're doing it. They know how to make storms and turn them off and steer them and whatever. They know how to make earthquakes. They do all kinds of things, and so they feel unstoppable, and even the devil does. So the devil thinks because he's going to win so many souls, that he's going to win the game in the end. To him, it's a game, or competition, because that's what the war in heaven started off with is Satan, Lucifer, trying to be God and challenge God, and that starts the war in heaven, and then he's kicked out. So right now, if the war in heaven hasn't started yet, Satan has the permission, has the ability, authority to go from heaven to earth and earth to heaven, and at some point he reports to God some of the things he's doing, of course, God already knows, but and then that's when he decides to challenge God when God doesn't like what he's been up to down here, and when he comes down, and so that's where we stand right now, is waiting for the war in the heavens to happen and complete, and then because we are in Revelation 12 right now, which is usually always open. I was a couple pages away right at the moment, but it's usually right here open, and it's we've seen verse 1 and 2, and then of course we've been waiting for the red dragon, which is to appear, which is the other sign in heaven. The wonder it says another wonder in heaven, and behold a great red dragon. Anyway, but you skip down and you have verse 7, and there's the war in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven for them. So he's cast down, and there isn't much before you get to 13, where you have the false prophet and the Antichrist, coming on the scene. Well, you already have the Pope. You already have the false prophets being, coming on. He comes on first, and so all that is coming, and there's no reason to think otherwise. So we should all repent, prepare, watch, and share the truth until the end. And it says in verse 11 of 12, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. That's why we get on here and share our testimony. And they loved not their lives unto death. I'm not in love with my life. I'm not in love with this world, and I try to to show that and be an example that in this end times we just need to focus on pleasing God, not ourselves. We need to focus on not giving in to the flesh, and and fornication, all that. So it's, we don't need to be drunk. We need to be not drunk, so we can see all the signs and be prepared to make it through all this. So yeah, man, it's
so Tommy, I've noticed too that things are trying to in the last week, things are, or people, or whatever you want to call them, are trying to divide this community. I've noticed a lot of people trying to gaslight other people. I had a guy in my chat. I don't know if it was the last time I did a live or it was the time before that. It was one of the two that came in my chat and tried to gaslight me. I have people emailing me and texting me and messaging me trying to gaslight me into certain things. And so I'm seeing that ramped up a lot. I've never had this much people trying to get me to dislike other people or, trying to start shit.
I hear you on that, and what I have to say on that is, we have seen a lot of people come and go in this community, and that's going to continue to happen. And haters are going to hate, and you're going to have people that will come in and act like a lamb, and end up being a wolf in sheep clothing.
Right.
All I can say is, we just have to press on and not let anybody lure us down, the wrong path. And just was it in your chat that I saw? I think it was the one that rhymes with phony. That guy.
Yeah. I mean, he was
in,
trying to gaslight me into saying some shit, and it's
he came in my chat last night, or one of the chats yesterday or whatever, and somebody I guess just deleted his comment or whatever, or timed him out. I don't know, but and it was a real just off the wall, just a nasty comment. He said I'm a pole smoker or something like that, like it never said anything else. So like, yeah, okay, well then if that, if you're gonna come in and say that, then that's what you want people to think about you, I guess. I don't know.
What the hell is
he was probably referring that to me, like or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, he lives in misery and judgment and just I mean, we're not even gonna go there because it's just that's fuel on his fire. So I pray for him.
I mean, the guy is so sick inside. The other day when Mac reacted to his invitation, so to say, to his challenge, I could hear the guy laughing when Mac addressed pedophiles. He just loves when he starts talking pedophiles, and then Mac is starting to defend, whether it's pedophile or not, and he loves that. You can hear it in his voice. He starts to smile.
Wow.
You can hear it in his voice, joying, like, oh, now I have him talking about pedophiles and homophiles, and you can just hear it in his voice. It's really very psychotic.
Yeah. Well, let's all pray. Let's all pray for him. Maybe he will, repent someday and get past it. I don't know. But
I mean, talk about using the name of the Lord in vain. I mean, phew.
Right.
It sounds like the lower hand demons have been activated.
Oh.
Because that's what I'm getting, and it's been in the last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we know better. We see through him, and some people, he has won over some people from our community. But that's like I said, it's just the way that it is. It is the wheat being separated from the tares, too, and
yeah.
We just have to keep on praying for these people to come to their senses. Robert, we're talking about phony. Robert, that guy. Mm-hmm.
It's not just that guy. It's other people too. The guy who attacked me in my chat, he didn't attack me, but he was trying to get me to hate somebody else in our group. And bring that hate out, which I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude, and this ain't happening in my stream. And that was the last we heard of him.
Yeah, you don't have to spend too much time on him. That's best, but it's really, it's really an interesting case for psychologists, I think.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Well, we've spent enough time on him. I usually, if you go back in my live shows, I usually just handle, trolls by just telling them the truth and hoping they get it someday, because we can't feed them. You're not supposed to feed the gremlins. After.
Yeah.
But anyway.
We know in our heart who is real, and we can see, like you said, Tommy, we can see through their bullshit right away. I mean, they may get us for a little while, but eventually we see through it.
Yeah, because see, they can't hide their evil for long. That's the thing too.
Yeah.
So, it saddens me that so many people are under a delusion that affects everything. It affects everything they do and think and say, and thank goodness we're not one of these ones walking around under full delusion that is just waiting to be injected with anything and everything the government has to inject them. It's ridiculous.
To be honest with you, I seen through this guy a long time, pretty much when I met the guy, but I never said anything because it wasn't my place to say anything, and there was a lot of people who got along with him, so I let that. People will find out in their own time, just like they did, like you said. They can't hide their evil for very long. It will come out. But do you have any clips that you are holding back from us that you want to show us?
I think we're going to check on the let's check out who is live first. I think I'm signed into my backup, so I don't see as many. Because I'm subscribed to 1,000 people on my main channel, but only maybe 100 on 120 maybe. Yeah, because I got 109 there. It says more. Anyway, let me look over here real quick at this dude. I'm not sure if I played his last one. Let's just look at this real quick.
Yeah, love Cho. I agree with you there, and that's the hardest thing to do is try to love your enemies. I struggle with that all the time. Hey, Jennifer.
No, it's easier just to walk away. I mean, love your enemies. I mean, don't be. I mean, what are you gonna do? Be the neighbor's fool, or how do you say?
Yeah, you gotta stick up for yourself. You know.
Yeah, right. I mean, so what? You're gonna let everybody just walk over you? I mean, no.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's like how there's got to be a line drawn there.
Very forgiving all my life, but you know.
Yeah, I have too.
I cut ties with everybody that disappointed me through the years. You know, I was always ready for everybody. And when somebody needed a room, when they were homeless, you know, they could live with me. How many people I've housed through the years, you know?
Right?
Yeah, Troll, you do what Jesus would do. I try my best to do what Jesus would do, but I'm not Jesus. Jesus is perfect. I can never be perfect.
Right.
Hey, Jennifer, good to see you. You can join us if you'd like, if you got time or whatever.
It's not like if you don't love your enemies, then you cannot be a rightful human being or an upright human being. I think it's a nice ambition, but you know, it's a bit of a stretch. Like I said, what are you gonna do? You're gonna let everybody use you? Love your enemy. So what are you gonna do? Let him inject you? Let him inject you, because he says, if you don't let me inject you, you don't show me your love, right? Is that what you're gonna do? It's not how it works, Love Troll. I know what you're saying, but it's not how it works.
Right?
No.
Yeah, I agree. Did you see David Reif wants you to drop the link, Tom?
To what?
I don't know. He said drop the link again. I think he wants to come in.
Oh. Who was it?
David.
Okay, hang on. I might have been. Okay. Anyway, all right. Let's see here. To see what they're talking about.
Building some sort of campaign infrastructure similar to what we saw in 2008 did not work. The idea that there was this unity message that would bring Republicans and independents together with progressives and Democrats clearly did not pan out. Very red and blue maps we're seeing here. And frankly, the idea that suburban women, that these fringe elements out here would win the race isn't showing out, right? We're seeing a lot of urban centers, a lot of traditional black and brown voters, traditional Democratic voters holding the line here. The real challenge, George, is if we don't get the Senate, which it doesn't sound like we're going to get, how are we going to deliver for the people who delivered for Democrats this time? These folks showed up, showed out. They're hoping for real change, and they're not going to be able to get it. 400 some bills still sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk. We don't expect him to move them if he wins the Senate. He will see this as an affirmation that the Senate has and should continue to course as they have over the last 4 years.
Let me press that point, because we just learned that Sarah Gideon up in Maine has conceded to Susan Collins. So Susan Collins will return as a Republican senator from Maine.
Sorry.
Still 227 to 213.
Republican Senate barring lightning strike.
See, man, if that number was the opposite there, if it was Trump 227 and Biden 213, people would already be freaking out, and whatever. So if they're going to make Trump have a second term, it's going to be right at the end, just squeak him through. It'll be 269 to 268, whatever, some crap.
These are the numbers that the landlady of Patrick was so focused on, right?
Yeah, them were the numbers, and she was like, she was really like, I got it. I was
just like a slot machine.
I wanted to talk.
It's just like a nationwide slot machine. Everybody's looking at those numbers like, when will they roll in their favorite, right?
Right.
We try to play this middle lose, and I think that's going to actually give Nancy Pelosi a bit of heartburn. But I think it's right, George. I just want to reflect on one thing really quickly. In places like Florida, when you look at ballot initiatives, $15 an hour won by 20 points in Florida. And Democrats lost Florida. Marijuana legalization won overwhelmingly in Montana. Democrats lost Montana. And so the strategy of not talking about issues, talking about policy, not meeting people where they are, was a strategy and a risk that Democrats took. And I think it was one that may have cost us the Senate, and maybe why we're on pins and needles today in many, many states across the country in this presidential race.
Yvette Simpson, thanks very much. Let's take a closer look at Pennsylvania right now. The biggest prize is still out there in this election. Let's see where we stand right now. We've got about 80% of the expected vote in. The officials there are saying we're going to have a pretty good idea of where the state stands by the end of the day. But right now, at least, Donald Trump leading by more than 400,000 votes in the state of Pennsylvania. We're cautioned by officials in Pennsylvania that there are millions, potentially millions of votes still out there, largely from Democratic areas. I want to go back to Eva Pilgrim in Pennsylvania. And Eva, give us a sense of how the count is going right now, what's still out there, when we expect to see more full results.
Well, they are slow but steady trying to count all of these mail-in ballots. And you said it, a lot of these mail-in ballots are in blue strongholds in the state of Pennsylvania. You're talking in the suburbs outside of Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and the suburbs outside of Philadelphia. And what we're seeing at this point is more than 50% of those mail-in ballots have now been counted. So they're starting to make some headway through those mail-in ballots. But George, this is the number you have to keep in mind. 1.2 million mail-in ballots still have to be counted. Donald Trump is up by a little bit more than 400,000 votes, 1.2 million out there. This could switch very quickly once those numbers start coming in. Here in Philadelphia County, they're giving us updates every so many hours as they get more ballots counted, kind of getting those numbers into the system. But it's just going to take time. And that's
Alaska
kind of
likes
what
Trump.
They repeatedly told us over and over again in the last 2 days. They knew this was going to be a slow process. They were trying to kind of manage everyone's expectation. This is the first time Pennsylvania has had early voting for anyone who wanted it, and it was a mail-in voting. It's in the middle of the pandemic.
He's winning in Georgia.
Chose to take that mail-in voting route. They are now having to
that one's
process
gonna
all
piss
of those
off
ballots,
the
which we
Democrats.
know takes longer. Those mail-in ballots take just a little bit of extra time. And I've talked to some of the people that are actually in those processing centers. They tell me they are taking great care. If they are running through in Montgomery County, she explained to me they are actually like slicing through the envelopes twice. If the ballot doesn't have the secrecy envelope, they remove it from the line. They take it to their official there to report it to them, and they go back to their job where they're running through those ballots again, and then they're scanning them in. And that is a manual job. It takes someone to do that, and every ballot takes a minute or so. And so you start to think about how long this is taking. They're actually getting through it pretty quickly. I think we will have a pretty good idea of where we stand here in the state of Pennsylvania at the end of the night. And they have said all along Friday, they think they will have most of those mail-in ballots counted on Friday. So many people waiting to see just
it doesn't matter. Trump already won over 70% of the vote. How can Biden possibly make that up?
The electoral crap. He's ahead in the electoral. That's all that matters. If he gets a 270 votes, he wins. See?
Yeah. No, I know, but I'm saying the overall Pennsylvania. I'm talking about Pennsylvania. As of last night, Pennsylvania's vote was already way over 50% for Trump. So how can you possibly come back and win
because
that
of all
state?
because of all the mail-in and the possible extended vote. See, you can still vote right now in Pennsylvania today and tomorrow.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're setting those votes aside, but you could still vote right now.
Huh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, imagine that.
Don't hone in too much on those numbers because we're waiting for those results.
There it is.
Again, as we go to Western Pennsylvania, I want to show you these Trump barometers. 95% of the vote in, we get a better gauge of what's happening there. And Donald Trump's exactly where he was 4 years ago. This is another county here, Westmoreland in Pennsylvania. Almost exactly. Actually, he's doing a little better there. George, when you look at the map of Pennsylvania, and again, we have a lot of the vote out, but this map looks a lot like 2016. I just checked. When we talk about the issues of fracking, about fossil fuels in Western Pennsylvania, in Northern Pennsylvania, those are big issues. A lot of the counties that were red 4 years ago are still red, including counties that President Trump flipped. Look, there's still some vote out here, about 15%, but in Lucerne, which is Wilkes-Barre, he's doing a little bit better there. So, I mean, look, a lot of the vote is out. We know that. We've been talking about it all day. But with the info that we have right now, there are some encouraging signs for the president, even though this story is to be continued.
Thanks very much. I want to bring in Mary Bruce for more on this right now. And Mary, one of the things we see is that what may be developing is a lesson learned well by the Joe Biden campaign from the Hillary Clinton campaign back in 2016. Yes, they thought they had great hopes for expanding the map, and they had unlimited funds at the end to spend in Florida, to spend in Georgia, to spend in North Carolina, to spend even in Texas and Arizona. But they were determined never to lose sight of this blue wall. There was some concern at the end of the Hillary Clinton campaign that she didn't go to Michigan enough. She didn't go to Wisconsin in the final month of the campaign. The Biden campaign was not going to be caught napping in that way.
They absolutely were not going to be caught doing that. Of course, so much attention paid famously to Hillary Clinton never going to Wisconsin during her campaign. When you look at where the Biden campaign spent time, especially in these last critical 2-3 weeks, it was really a balancing act between trying to hit on those states where they looked to expand the map, those Trump states that they were hoping to flip, but also never losing sight of these traditional battlegrounds and of these critical states. We saw Joe Biden, bouncing back and forth like just 2 days ago. I think it was 2 days ago now, where he was, in Ohio, but also really, still laser focused on Pennsylvania. And George, you mentioned the money. The Biden team has so much money, and they were just blanketing the airwaves in so many of these states. And it does get to a point that we've also talked about a fair amount here, which is the ground game, which is that when the pandemic hit, of course, the Biden team really pulled everyone out. They weren't knocking on doors in the way that the Trump team is really proud of the fact that they continue doing that. But in many ways, because they had so much money in the end, they were able to continue having such a strong presence in so many of these critical battlegrounds. But they were very keenly aware of not trying to repeat any of the mistakes of 4 years ago, and also, keenly aware of those dynamics up until the very, very end. It's why they were so cautious, and why it's really sort of remarkable now to see them coming out.
Okay, can't take no more. Gag me.
Thank you.
Oh, goodness gracious, y'all. Well, it's a sad world we live in. So, good to see you, Michael Healy. What's happening? Scooter, what's up? Scooter sorry, go ahead.
I feel like the way they're running this election is like a Mandela effect. Do they really run these elections this way now? It's a joke. I don't really think it's
a dog and pony crap show, man. Yeah, it's unreal the amount of money they spend. And how well it works, how well their spells and their rituals and their evil agendas work on so many people, man. If they didn't work, then it would fall apart. But we're not able to reach everyone because unfortunately, people are so hard to reach and wake up. They really are, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's almost impossible, but it does happen, and it actually probably happens more naturally by people just hitting rock bottom or hitting just going through shit in their life that makes them start questioning life and whatever whatever. There's something that triggers each and every one of us at some point where we just we're done with the lies and deception, and we start seeking the truth and spreading the truth. But this agenda is not going anywhere. So we've learned to adapt. We've learned to live without fear, and we've learned to prepare for the worst and expect it for a little while.
It's what Bolton says. They're doing their best to start a war. I mean, that's
oh yeah
that's really fucking obvious by now.
Yeah, and see, and that's what's going on in heaven too. So as below, above, as above, so below. That there's a war going in heaven too. So you have the devil and his part of the angels that are at war with God and his angels, and then you have the evil people down here that are loyal to the devil and the beast system at war with all of us, and we've been in a war for a while, guys, and they're going to start getting the upper hand, even too, for a short while. That's how the story goes on, but that's why we've been prepared for this, and we have the foreknowledge, so that we can warn others and help others who come off the fence, or whatever, and want the truth and tired of dealing with the New World Order. So the New World Order has been around for decades. It's just in the last 10, 20 years really started to press on and with their agendas and enslave people around the world. So we've seen so much oppression from these people, and they that's all they know. It's very hard to get to the top, and they want to stay there, and they don't care about us. They truly want millions of people to die or billions to die so that they can enjoy the earth, more themselves, and so they don't care. All of it's that's what amazed me. That's what I was getting to. That's why it amazes me just how much effort they put in to this whole dog and pony crap show that we're seeing here today, and every election, and they are trying so hard. So you can expect them to have some success, and they are, and like I said the other night, I'm surprised they don't just give away TVs, because they want people so badly to be glued to them 24/7. Because it isn't just about the news propaganda, that all that poison stuff. It is about molding people through all these programs that they have and movies, that try to shape you into a lover of socialism and a lover of self and anything that's ungodly, of course too. So and of course to make you be in love with authority too, but the authority is corrupt and evil, unfortunately. All right.
Yeah, this election, it's nothing like making up the damn rules as you go along now.
Right. Yep. That's the same thing with the agenda, the whole agenda. As they've had. I mean, I was sat down 28 years ago, and red pilled and told all about this, the every possibility. Not every single possibility, because they've come up with more since then. But all of these plans and And the biggest thing he told us was that they will adapt. They will come up with a backup plan. Already have it, whatever. And they've perfected, getting their plan in order and getting it going. And there's so many people, unfortunately, that have a price and or have been blackmailed, whatever, one way or another. They're caught up in the system. You might even have some good people that were, a few good people in politics that meant well at some point, whatever. But the system will definitely devour one way or another any good in somebody, and they'll change them or they'll kill them or whatever. So you have to expect that every world leader and those loyal to them, working for them, are just definitely have picked their side.
They're rotten to the core.
And they've chosen their side till the end, because the end is so short. So we all need to not waste any more time and make sure we are 1,000% on the good side, on the light side, and that we have no intentions of ever supporting or condoning the New World Order's beast system, Antichrist agenda. So that's where I stand, and I'm firm on that. They can cut my head off today. They can torture me, persecute me, whatever they want to do. I will die before I deny.
I'm right beside you, brother.
I'm just saying, folks. I don't know how else to stress to people that I know I'm preaching the choir here, but I mean what else needs to be said? What else needs to be? Do you need to be shown that that this is it? This is
probably that what you're just saying, because they're gonna prosecute you. I mean, that's what we feel coming. That's what I feel coming.
Yeah, and I've been preparing my mind for it. I've been preparing for, for this to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If that's what I have to do to prove it, that's what I have to do, I guess.
Right.
I'm not gonna live in this fucking new beast system. I'm not gonna live here.
They're gonna make you live in it. They're gonna make you live in it.
See, there's so many of us that are creative and think outside the box already. That's what I'm saying. We have been prepared for such a moment, us specifically. And so, I mean, just think about each one of us could help a dozen people probably. So, all right, if there's 200 or 300 of us, then you multiply that, how many people we can help? Thousands of people, that are good people that just, hey, once the TV, there will be a time in this next 7 years that there won't be, people just sitting in front of the TV every day, and absorbing all this stuff. So there are going to be a lot of people that wake up, and it might be because Tommy and Voynich and Patrick and Robert and Karen are in a FEMA camp, re-education camp. It might be our adult children. It might be, our neighbors that go, hey, they were just taken off. It's time for me to wake the freaking heck up and take a stand, too, and join them or whatever. But, if there's nobody coming behind us that is warning people, then, hey, it's going to get crappy real quick, because, we are in a battle, and we are firing the truth back at these people like missiles, and we are making a difference, even just our little bit here, and they know that we are real people, and we have power in us, that other people don't, the sheeple don't have, that they could have, but they choose not to have. So we are special. Don't let it go to your head, but we are special, and they know it.
That's what's bothering me. I mean, that's what's bothering me. I'm not.
Yeah. We know, a lot of us know our role, and we want to fulfill it, and we're doing the best, or are so close the best we can to do what is right in this. A lot of us have our hands are tied one way or another, but we are going to fulfill what needs to be done if God puts it on us. So if it hits the fan, we will step up in the ways that we are supposed to. And I think we've been trained for such a time. That's what I'm saying. So, you have to be strong. It is heartbreaking. And I have moments too where I will shed tears over this whole situation and the sheer number of people who are going to be deceived to death by, the beast system. So, but thank God that he's had mercy on us and so much grace. And so there is most definitely a wonderful, beautiful remnant of people who are going to rise up and our redemption will draw near, because time is seriously running out, folks. And just love your Creator and try to have that real relationship with Him, not the world. And just seek His will, not yours.
Yeah, but you think this is just the beginning, and we're already breaking down. I mean,
I know,
because we're becoming physical soon.
Yeah, that's why it says there are going to be people that have heart attacks. Their heart is going to fail them.
8 years more. There's going to be 8 more years.
Well, I think what we're doing is preparing ourselves, though, so we don't lose it when the time comes. And people who are not preparing themselves are the ones that are going to have the heart attacks and stuff like that. It's not going to be us,
right? Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So we need to continue to, just stand firm and not give in a tiny, not even a tiny bit. That's why we continue to stand firm with the mask and no vaccine, just no overtake of overstepping of the government's where they're not supposed to overstep our rights, and they have just too many times now. And even Trump, let's not forget that Trump has signed the NDAA whatever crap that
the NDAA was signed by Obama.
Bush and all. I mean, it's been going for a long time, and that's the one. That's the agenda that has been slowly but surely taking our rights away, and it's one thing after another, folks. They're going to definitely keep the chaos going so that they can have a worldwide reset, and bring about the one world.
And for
one world religion.
The people who don't know that's the National Defense Authorization Act, where they can arrest you for any damn reason they want to. They can throw you, lock you up, and kill you without a trial.
That part. Yep.
So they will. So they will. I mean, that's
I mean, they're trying to scare us. That's who they're trying to scare with that, because we're the resistors. We're the ones saying no. We don't want to live in a world like that. We don't want to comply, to your evil agendas. So they know. That's why we have all been on a list. I guarantee it, for a while now. Some of us more than others, but they know who's playing along with their agenda and who's not. And I'm happy with that. I'm fine. I'm not gonna pretend. I'm not gonna be a hypocrite, and I'm not gonna kiss their butt and then come tell y'all that I didn't. No. I'm sorry. I'm not going to subscribe to their.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean,
you there?
I
glitching out, Patrick.
Yeah. Yes, man. Yep, still.
Gwent.
Yeah, you're gonna have to maybe go out and come back in, or just give it a minute.
Yeah.
Up.
I was just saying.
No.
About still glitching.
Yeah, you glitched up, yeah.
I didn't kick him out. He went out, but oh, sorry. Oh dear. Okay.
Oh, did I glitch out?
What? Oh dear. What's up, Jennifer? Yes, we need this gathering. Let's see. Hold on. We need this gathering as much as possible. Thank you all for coming live to share the truth. I love you all, my family. Right back at you. Thank you all for being here. Let me change the banner here. Let's wait on Patrick to see if he's coming back. You can come back, Patrick. What trying to get rid of you? The Earth is not globe shaped. Roll that one for a second there. Earth is not globe shaped. Right. Oh, remember this one wanted?
Remember what one?
The bottom ticker thing. Yeah.
Iron Stavely's balls will be international. Yeah. Great.
Oh, dude. Okay. Oh, my goodness. There is two two suns? Is there a sun simulator?
Yeah. Well, I believe there's something else in the sky, and I don't believe in a sun simulator, actually.
If you don't like Christian nap, you probably just need to take a massive crack.
But that there could very well be more than one sun in the sky. Yeah.
Checking.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right.
Hello, welcome back. Yes. So, well, guess we'll check, look around here, see what's going on in the world, see what they're babbling about now.
Well, it's probably 50-50 in the world.
I will be going live tonight, you guys.
Yes,
around 10 o'clock.
And that's Eastern or Standard Time, my time?
Central time.
So that's like 3 a.m. for me. I guess I will not.
Yeah, I'll probably still be live by the time you get up.
Oh, goodness. Wow. He's talking about an all-nighter or something.
Yeah, it's been I did go live the other night, but it's been a good 4 days now since I did a good one. So we're due for a good long one.
Secrets of Saturn has a show planned for 8 o'clock. Nobody else is live right now.
Because you are.
They're busy or something. Of course, it's my backup. Like I said, I'm only subscribed to 110 channels. So. I didn't do JD Frog's Bible thing last week. I might do it this week. We'll see this Sunday. See what he has to say after the no.
DJ Farag or JD.
JD Farag.
JD.
I think it's time to make some coffee.
Oh yeah, so I was gonna. I need to Google, see how many adults have never had a cup of coffee in their life. How many would y'all guess?
Oh,
not many.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know that I had a friend.
I'm one of them.
He never drank a cup of coffee, and he'd been drinking, and he'd been smoking lots of weed. And so he just tried to wake up like for 2, 3, 4 hours. And he said, damn, man, I just cannot wake up today. I said, well, you got to try some coffee, man. That shit really works. And he said, no, I don't like it. I said, and so I made him a good cup of coffee. And, well, he didn't like the first sip really much. But the second sip was all right. And then he woke up and he said, shit, man, this stuff really works. And then he was hooked.
Let's see here. %64% of Americans drink coffee. Wow. So I guess it's probably a big number then that don't drink it, or I never have. I've never.
Well, nowadays they have all the energy drinks and all that stuff. So I'm sure that's how a good majority is getting their caffeine nowadays.
Dude, but that tastes like shit, man.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, man.
Wow. I know that my nephew, he wanted it when he was much younger. And of course, he wasn't allowed by his mother. And I said, what do you want? You know, in the supermarket. I said, what would you like? He said, can I have that? I said, that? You really want this Red Bull shit? What's it called? You know, these
energy drink, energy. Yeah.
And he said, yeah, I want to try that. I said, dude, you. I said, well, I would like to tell you that you need to drink it complete. I said, but, you know, I will just let you have a taste of it. I said, I would like a taste of it too, because it's really, really horrible. He looked at me like, really? I said, yeah. So I bought him a can, and we opened it up, and he looked at me like, you first. And I thought that's the right attitude. So I took a sip, and I looked at him like, dude, it smells like, I don't know. It smells like it wants to smell nice, but it doesn't. It really smells horrible. And he said, yeah, it smells horrible. And then he took a sip and he says, no, I don't like it either. And then he threw it away. So
nothing like drinking gasoline.
Jesus, man. I think it's really close to something like that. Yeah.
Let's see this new, it's about a week old, but kind of new from Jason A.
Emails from Texas and New Mexico as well, where they are also seeing larger number of die-offs.
Since the beginning of September, dead birds have been found.
Really strange, literally birds dropping out of the sky.
Now, conservationists are sounding the alarm after thousands of dead seals have washed ashore on the coast of Namibia. They estimate more than 10,000 have died in recent weeks. The vast majority of them, say Ocean Conservation Namibia, are premature pups. The exact reason for the die-off at the seal colony at Pelican Point isn't fully clear.
Pelican Point.
Just the colony that we're dealing with, we're estimating probably in excess of 7,000 dead pups alone. And these are the premature pups, the tiny little aborted fetuses, if you wish. And that's not counting the adults, the adult females and other pups lying dead on the beaches too.
And what's the likely cause thought to be?
Well, in history, I mean, this has played out a few times before, and it's normally been chalked down to food availability. It is the most likely cause right now because the animals are very emaciated. They're very thin, lying on the beaches, obviously very malnourished. And
you have suggested that this has happened in the past.
It has. We had a major die-off in 1994. We lost about a third of the entire seal population, which at that stage was more or less the same as it is now at about 1.3 million Cape Fur seals in Namibia. If the fish are too far away offshore, they just don't have a means to get their fill and come back and nurse their pups. So they abort their fetuses basically in an attempt to save themselves.
And can anything be done by humankind to help them?
It's difficult on such a big scale. I mean, if you had a couple of isolated individuals, you could set up rehabilitation centers and try and feed them. But then again, it also the other big factor is that we can't say for certain that it is starvation. There could be toxins involved, there could be sickness, disease, and until we have a clearer picture of what the potential threats are, it's very difficult.
Almost every morning, Mohammed Ghazi takes his boat out to fish, but these days there's nothing to catch, and the serene surface of the water belies the toxic danger that lurks beneath. Thousands of dead fish washed up in this canal at the beginning of this month. 2 weeks on, remnants of what Mohammed says was an unprecedented environmental disaster.
2 months ago in late August, people in New Mexico noticed hundreds of migratory birds that had fallen dead right out of the sky. Within a few weeks, the numbers had expanded to thousands of birds across other states, including Colorado, Arizona, Texas, and Nebraska. Scientists have been struggling for an explanation as they look to protect birds from other threats.
Birds have been falling out of the sky and dying. We're talking thousands of them in the past few months.
Migration this year marked by a massive die-off across several western states. New Mexico was hard hit, as University of New Mexico PhD student Jenna McCullough and fellow student Nick Vincegara discovered.
It was somber, and we were picking up birds very quietly in our own respective bags, and generally the only things we were saying, just incredulous at how many birds were there.
Experts like Allison, who heads Colorado, Wyoming, and Utah's National Audubon Society, say the numbers could be in the hundreds of thousands.
And it was certainly something went wrong this year.
This is a very strange event.
Punjabi co-authored a study detailing a 30% decline of American birds in the last 5 decades due to things like habitat loss. From unprecedented forest fires across the West may also be a fact.
Hyderabad is drowning. The rain has been relentless in the South Indian city, and it's now claimed lives. In one deadly incident, floodwaters pushed a wall onto a house, which collapsed on impact. Other victims were swept away in raging currents.
Give us an idea of the scale of the flooding. We've seen the pictures. And yet Vietnam suffers monsoons every year. How is this different and why?
The scale of devastation is overwhelming. Days of heavy rain, floods, and mudslides in central Vietnam have swept away entire communities. Thousands have lost their homes.
These are considered to be one of the most worst and most affected floods and storms ever in many decades in Vietnam, and affecting life of millions of people.
Catastrophic scenes also in Cambodia. Deadly flash floods have hit the west of the country, prompting the evacuation of some 2,500 people. The military and police have been deployed to assist with the massive operation and hand out much-needed food to isolated communities. And this is the scene in neighboring Vietnam, where flooding has claimed the most casualties in the last week. Up to 1 million people have been impacted by the floods, some 200,000 homes are underwater, and there are fears the death toll could rise.
And the government warns things could get worse as Tropical Storm Sardel approaches. And there's already widespread flooding in the Philippines. Back in Vietnam, rescue teams are preparing for the worst, for what's already being described as the worst floods there in decades.
Critical danger in the west. Overnight, a new wildfire erupting in Colorado as more than 30 infernos burn across the west right now. Parts of Newport Beach are flooded tonight.
But nature found a way to remind us. In the Midwest, punishing 100-mile-an-hour winds. In the Southwest, a brutal succession of floods and droughts. On the coasts,
Delta is bearing down on the Louisiana Gulf Coast.
A freakish number of devastating hurricanes.
666
and in our western states,
the combination of the high heat and dry brush makes for explosive fires.
Historic mega fires that sent a plume of ash and smoke all the way to the East Coast. More than 4 million acres have burned in California alone.
Now to the evacuations tonight. The wildfire emergency in the West. Red flag warnings across 6 states tonight. One fire in Colorado exploding in size overnight.
The 2 largest wildfires in that state's history, burning just 10 miles apart. And weather conditions this weekend are threatening to make things worse.
They have to go real slow. Like these firefighters flanked by flames as they drive to safety.
You are a hero. My hero.
Tonight, the second largest wildfire in Colorado history could become the most massive the state has ever seen. It's already burned an area larger than the city of Chicago, and it might merge with an even bigger fire just a few miles away.
locked in a desperate scramble to save lives while struggling to protect their own.
You need to get moving now. The fire's coming over you.
The so-called East Troublesome Fire exploding, at times erupting at a rate of 6,000 acres an hour. That's nearly 80 football fields per minute.
High winds and dry conditions creating a perfect storm.
You can see behind me here, the fire is in the trees. The firefighters call this crowning. And when that happens in these conditions, the fire is virtually unstoppable.
I've never seen anything like what we experienced 2 nights ago.
Oh my God.
Forcing the evacuations of thousands, fast becoming the second largest fire in Colorado history, now at nearly 190,000 acres, proving deadly.
Under a dark orange midday sky, they started evacuating the town of Estes Park. Less than 12 miles away, the Cameron Peak Fire also burning. It's the largest in state history.
Go! Go!
The Calwood Fire also forcing families to make dramatic escapes. 7 fires now scorching the state, burning more than 375,000 acres.
A wildfire crisis unlike anything residents in the Rocky Mountain state have ever seen.
Never in the American West has so much burned so quickly. Bone-dry humidity and powerful winds. From Washington state to Southern California, entire communities were wiped out.
In the last 20 years, we've experienced twice the number of weather disasters as we did in the previous 20 years.
Smoke from the dozens of major wildfires mushroomed into thick blankets of clouds so vast they could be seen. It's hard to fathom that the worst may be yet to come.
Yep.
A city in chaos. Across Lagos, buildings have been torched and sporadic clashes have erupted. This is what sparked the outcry. Soldiers shooting unarmed protesters in the country's largest city.
They are shooting at us. They are shooting.
Nigeria has been a dictatorship for almost half of its life as an independent nation. Many of its citizens worry Tuesday's events echo the dark days of military rule, and they're determined to make sure that doesn't happen.
Chile is a country used to earthquakes, but few people expected the shake-up that we've seen this past year. In just 12 months, Chile went from being an oasis of stability, as its president described it, to a country wanting to rewrite the rules. It all started when Santiago hiked its metro ticket prices by just 4 cents. It represented the tipping point, unleashing anger and resentment among millions struggling to make ends meet in a country that on the surface looked like it was succeeding. The demonstrations were largely peaceful, but clashes with protesters and heavy-handed responses by the authorities have marked this past year too. After a pause in protesting because of COVID-19, people have returned to the streets. Peaceful protests like this, and more troubling ones like this. Tension is high in Chile, and so are expectations.
In Beirut, demonstrations have taken place to commemorate the first anniversary of a mass protest movement demanding political reform in Lebanon.
1 year since the protests began in Lebanon. 1 year of rising and fading hopes. People came from different backgrounds and sects, commemorating a pivotal moment in Lebanon's modern history. A moment when the Lebanese people pushed for change, but were faced with devastating economic, health, and security challenges. As they continue their march, they raise their voice with anger of a corrupt and impotent government who not only made the country poorer, but failed to protect lives.
Crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
world.
Getting crazy everywhere.
Oh, what happened to Voynich? He had fell out. Huh? Hello, Voynich. Welcome back. Are you there?
Actually, I suppose I should probably get going. I gotta finish get some stuff done before the day's done.
Well, I'm probably going to wrap this up soon anyway because I want people to watch it, and when you get too far, too long, they don't watch it. But we will probably be closing up soon. I'll if I'm awake, I'll definitely tune in tonight. I should be, I'll be
Okay.
there.
I would appreciate
Drop a
it
link if you want to your if you've got one made already. Drop a link.
Okay. Thanks for having me in, Tommy.
Yeah, man.
and
Anytime. Appreciate your wisdom, insight, and your piecing the puzzle that you bring.
As always, Voynich, good to see you.
I will see you in the morning.
Okay, sounds good, brother. All right, see you guys. You guys take care.
All right. Yeah,
Bye.
no doubt. I think we will probably play a song or two, and then get on out of here. I hear you making coffee or something.
Yeah, I'm making cocoa.
Cocoa. Are you cuckoo for cocoa?
I'm cuckoo for cocoa.
But not cocoa as in COVID.
I wouldn't know how.
Yeah, that was funny.
I haven't isolated it yet.
Right. Let's check in one last time with the the crap show and saying.
Biden to speak. So far, he's been sending out a message of optimism. You can take a look at his website, telling people there to keep the faith. When all of the votes are counted, Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States. Last night, he also said he felt good about his position, but again, insisting that we will know when every vote is counted. For more now, I'm joined by Devin Dwyer on this. Devin, what can we expect to hear from Joe Biden this afternoon?
Hey, Diane. Well, we had expected to hear from the vice president at some point this afternoon, according to his team. I was in a briefing a little bit earlier. As you've heard the team reporting, they say they are on track to win. In fact, campaign manager Jen O'Malley Dillon told us that he will be the next president of the United States. And one of the headlines just to come out, Diane, in the past few minutes is we have now learned that Joe Biden has received more votes for president than any other nominee for president in this country's history. More than 69 million votes.
No, you're kidding.
The vote
Kidding.
so
Probably
far
not.
in this country.
They just throw shit out there,
Already been made in the
I don't believe that.
We're still waiting on the
More
results of those
votes.
key
Give
states.
me
And
a
I don't know
break.
if we have the latest count in a number of those key states, but let's take a look quickly here at Wisconsin and Michigan, the two key states which have already advised, Diane, that they are pretty much done counting the ballots today. We do expect to get certified results in Wisconsin, where Joe Biden has opened up about a 21,000 vote lead, and Michigan, where he's now opened a 48,000 vote lead. Both of those states say they should have certified results later today. Although a couple of late-breaking developments in those states, we should say, Diane, in Wisconsin, the Trump campaign has now formally requested a recount. They can do that if the results are within 1% of the vote. They are there, so the Trump campaign would have to pay that fee to have that vote recounted. At the same time, in Wisconsin, just moments ago, the campaign says they have filed a lawsuit there alleging some sort of meaningful
Here we go with the more
to
crap
counting
show.
points for some of those
Extended crap
ballots. They
show
have not
with the
provided any
lawsuits.
evidence about what they allege is why they feel they've been excluded.
Yeah, it's going to be a
but we'll
repeat
see how
of
both of those legal challenges play out.
the Bush and Gore.
President Trump, when he spoke at the White House overnight, he talked about this being fraudulent. He tweeted to the same effect. Now we're hearing, about this new lawsuit from the campaign. A few challenges coming already. He promised in that speech that he would take this on.
Wouldn't it be fucking funny that no matter how they voted, it ended up 50-50?
If what? Say it again. Huh?
Wouldn't it be funny that it would just every time they recount, it would end up in 50-50?
Yeah.
And they couldn't do anything about it, and it will end up in a tie. and
Oh,
everybody will have to
gosh.
vote again.
Yeah, they'd love that too. Dragging on, definitely. Oh,
Wisconsin suggesting that he is losing there. So that's one thing. At the same time, he's also declaring that the vote counting should stop. There's no tradition or precedent in this country for that happening. He wants to freeze the results in Pennsylvania, where he's ahead right now, and in Georgia, where he's ahead. But at the same time, Diane, he wants to keep counting in Nevada and Arizona, where the Trump campaign is behind at this hour. So it's clear that the president's sort of searching for a message. But if there's one thing we know about Donald Trump is that he uses the courts, he uses bluster to try to buy himself some time. Delay tactics, especially in the legal space, have been his bread and butter over the years as a businessman. So perhaps we're starting to see that play out here. Buy some time in certification of the results with hopes that he might
They're
be able to
both doing
achieve
that.
some other kind of outcome than the campaign is seeing in the tea leaves right now, Diane.
And Devin, several key states are still in play right now. We saw those gray areas on the map that we just put up. Any indication of how they're looking and when we might know more?
Yeah, let's go back to Michigan. They are just starting to process the final absentee ballots that came in those counties around Detroit, heavily Democratic area. We've only seen Joe Biden's lead in Michigan go up this morning. The same thing in Wisconsin. Only a tiny township of 300 residents has yet to be counted there. So we see the vice president's lead sort of solidifying in those two key upper Midwest states. Nevada is sort of a wild card here. That's traditionally a Democratic stronghold. The Biden campaign had expected to win there, Diane, but it's surprisingly close today. 8,000 vote difference in Nevada. That's a state that Joe Biden needs to win. We won't have certified results there until tomorrow. They aren't continuing to count. And in Arizona, at least 400,000 votes are still being counted, many of them from the heavily Democratic areas around Maricopa County, the Phoenix area. That's underway right now. And because of a couple of hiccups yesterday in Georgia, a few polling places had problems. One of those super centers that we reported on over the past few weeks had a burst water pipe overnight, so they had to stop counting the mail ballots there. Well, that's getting back underway in metro Atlanta at this hour. Going to be a real squeaker in Georgia, but we are still waiting, maybe later today, but certainly expected by tomorrow to have those results in Georgia. So it's still going to be a day or two, Diane, until we get a more complete picture, but I think by this afternoon, at least in those upper Midwest states, we will have a pretty good sense of who is winning there.
All right, Devin Dwyer for us. Thanks, Devin. Now let's dig a little deeper into those results in Georgia. The state has been a Republican stronghold for decades, but right now, as you heard Devin say, it's still too close to call. Let's go to ABC's Steve Osunsami, who's there in Georgia with the latest on that. Steve, what are we hearing right now?
Well, Diane, I first want to talk about that burst water pipe. That doesn't appear to be an issue anymore. They were able to start counting.
Why do you want to talk about it, you dummy? Anyway, oh man, what a joke on us. Or those who buy into it, of course. So let's see here. Did he drop a link to his show? Yes, he did. Okay, so let me just highlight that. So there's probably the show tonight for Patrick at 10 o'clock. Busted crack pipe. Yeah. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get some music going and then wrap this thing on up. Serve it out.
I made myself some cocoa and put on some extra socks.
Ooh,
That makes me feel a bit comfortable.
I see. I'm going to go outside and enjoy the weather because it's supposed to get up to 75 here today. That's
Wow, that sounds pretty nice.
Sunny, yeah, maybe a little bit of breeze. I don't even see the trees moving, so that's perfect. If there's no breeze, it'd be just nice. Yep.
Okay, well, enjoy the rest of your day, Mr. Tommy.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna
Watch
just find some music here to lead us out, and oh dear, I want to see what happens. No, don't go back to that. My love is gone. No, I don't want no YouTube premium. And I'll be back soon. Not today, probably, but tomorrow. And we'll probably know who's going to be president by then.
This is all so new. It's not new. I realize that nothing we've been doing is new.
It's about to be 4:20 somewhere. I'm going to go ahead and do one for y'all.
We've just been awakening.
119, 9/11 backwards here.
Technology is simply a route to powers that conjurers and alchemists used centuries ago.
We're seeing an exponential growth in our machines and innovations as technology surpasses and exceeds our limitations. Implications could be serious. In many past and present futurists have been warning us for years about the consequences. Massive repercussions. We see the evidence, dependence on our internet and phones and games and televisions, losing independence. As we immerse ourselves in working all our fingers to the bones for corporations, we give them back our paychecks for the latest and the greatest plastic upgrades, name brand products and replacements, and build their databases. Investing hours of our own free time uploading information used against us to target us with market advertising toward our interests. Collecting information used to monitor our senses, correcting anyone who won't comply or be connected. How long before a mandatory microchips injected? It's the age-old lie, the promise of utopia, the carrot on the stick, the empty cornucopia, technological hive mind dystopia. Or will it rise as a time of robophobia? It's the age-old lie, the promise of utopia, the carrot on the stick, the empty cornucopia, technological hive mind dystopia. Or will it rise as a time of robophobia? It's an emerging type insurgence, converging and emerging and churning, slowly bursting to the surface. It's concerning every person and confirming every warning. The disturbing thought we're working toward a single mindless merging and converting us to downloadable versions of ourselves inside a full immersion. Universal simulated virtual reality where every living earthling's neural pathways are inspected mandatorily and connected using voice to skull telepathy, absorbing data fingerprints to play us back like instruments, manipulating us just like we're puppets of ventriloquists, remote controlling human beings like Ouija boards, coursing through the veins of circuit boards, record the sound of every vocal cord, moving exponentially towards a singularity. Eventually we won't distinguish magic from technology, and robots will unplug from electricity, no longer using batteries but powered like a golem using alchemy. It's the age-old lie, the promise of utopia, the carrot on the stick, the empty cornucopia, technological hive mind dystopia. Or will it rise as a time of robophobia? It's the age-old lie, the promise of utopia, the carrot on the stick, the empty cornucopia, technological hive mind dystopia. Or will it rise as a time of robophobia? So they manipulate genetically our DNA collectively, infecting every living organism and directing every intersecting thought and every memory and vision, inspecting our opinions and collecting our decisions. A digital technocracy emerging as philosophy, inserting thought police patrols and mind control technology, removing private property, enforcing thought bureaucracy, reducing every freedom and pursuit of life and liberty, consistently expanding all their terms and their conditions with minimum requirements and maximum restrictions, creating unknown problems to offer fake solutions to complicate the system till there's nothing but confusion, depicting anyone who won't conform as unacceptable, demanding everyone to all agree and not be skeptical, eventually connecting every mind from every nation, fulfilling prophecies from Genesis to Revelation. It's the age-old lie, the promise of utopia, the carrot on the stick, the empty cornucopia, technological hive mind dystopia. Or will it rise as a time of robophobia?
Even with all these new abilities, none of them are dangerous. Human race lost that knowledge, and now I'm reclaiming it through virtual reality. You're moving too fast.
If it were easy to make money in the
Been a good show, guys. I'm so happy when I get together with you guys and we get a fellowship. Put the pieces of the puzzle together. What we have here, let's see. JD Frog, Communication with Jesus, 11:30 tomorrow. Communion with Jesus. All right, let's see. Yeah, not much going on YouTube right now. They're out there. They're out there. All right. Well, I guess I'll see you guys on the flip side. I don't know. Hope you have a blessed afternoon, evening, night, and I'm gonna call this one done.
Tommy here, Tommy out.
Yeah, Tommy here.
Ciao, Tommy.
Voin is here. Voin is out.
See you later,
All right.
man.
Much love, everyone. Take care. I'll
Ciao.
see you soon. Bye-bye.